This podcast is a part of the PodMania podcasting network. Check out podmania.co.uk to check out more of our great podcasts, features, reviews, match ratings and previews spanning the crazy and diverse world of professional wrestling. Hello guys and welcome to the Young Lion Cast, your fortnightly audio source of all things New Japan Pro Wrestling, right here on the PodMania podcasting network. I am your host Rob Goodwin and I am joined as always by the John Lennon of the Young Lion Cast, Chris O'Brien. How are you, Chris?
Does this mean I get to be murdered soon?
Well, I hope not. I hope not. Who on earth would do this wonderfully unofficially official New Japan podcast with me?
God.
Once a year for Wrestle Kingdom.
He's not even here for this Wrestle Kingdom.
He's not. He has officially bailed. Since we've been doing podcasts together, Garth has done Wrestle Kingdom every year with me. And this year, 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom was just too much for him. I think he just got that excited that he just blew his load and was done.
He's just not used to good wrestling, is he?
Well, no, he likes AEW, which isn't that bad, to be fair. It's quite good. NWA Power, which is...
It just reminds him of his childhood.
His adolescence.
Yeah, he just remembers back then, and then remembers Father Christie, and he's like, no, I don't want to remember my childhood.
Do you know what? I would argue there is absolutely nothing else you need to remember about that time period.
What, other than wrestling?
Yeah.
Well, the 80s.
Yeah.
Bowie was big, but like he was after the Ziggy Stardust phase, so like it's not like peak Bowie. Queen, but like again we're past peak Queen at that point. We're releasing Hot Fuzz, and that's a shit album.
They were releasing what? Sorry.
Hot Fuzz.
No, that's a film.
But like it's also a Queen album.
I'm sure it's not called Hot Fuzz.
It is called Hot. Hang on, I'm googling this right now.
Yeah,
Hot
so am I.
Fuzz Queen. All right, maybe it's not called Hot Fuzz. Hang on, what the fuck is this album called?
Is it Hot News or something? Or
No. Hang on. Hot Space. That's what it's.
Shame about that Queen then. It's just the one Queen, actually. Amazing.
Have you heard about the story about when the Sex Pistols and Queen were recording in the same studio?
I think so.
So for people who don't know, Johnny Rotten walks in and he's like, he's still trying a big ballet to the masses. And Freddie Mercury apparently just stands up, says, oh, go away, you oaf, and pushes him out the door.
He's just... You will never have a better frontman than Freddie Mercury, ever.
No, because, like...
He had it all.
He can fucking make people do the aero thing from the fucking grave. So
he's incredible. He is absolutely incredible, that man. And we miss him dearly. However, that was not the way I was going to start this podcast, because believe it or not, Chris, we can't go on our traditional Young Lion Cast rants today. And why is that? Because this podcast is probably going to be about 4.5 hours as it is. And that is because, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the back of Wrestle Kingdom 14. It's in the books. 2 nights of early mornings to get up and watch us some New Japan Pro Wrestling and some history-making New Japan Pro Wrestling at that. So, 4th of January, 5th of January, Tokyo Dome. Chris, overall thoughts of the show as a whole?
I'm just happy you're watching Stardom now. Well, fucking amazing. Like, do we ever come out of a Wrestle Kingdom not thinking it's amazing?
No, and, you go through every main event and you always feel like you've seen something special. And we'll save, our reactions for later on. But coming off the back of this, you sent me a message saying you were so hyped for New Japan Pro Wrestling again. And I came out of this, especially night 2, and I was so emotionally drained from that main event. I don't think I've ever been as invested in a match as I was in that main event of Night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 14. And we'll get to that, definitely, but I agree with you, Chris. What show?
I mean, to be fair, I'm going to be more emotionally invested in the main event of New Beginning in Sapporo.
We will get to that, because, yes, there have been announcements for the New Beginning shows, 2 in Sapporo and 1 in Osaka, which we'll be previewing at the end of this podcast, probably quite quickly, again, as this podcast is already going to be about 4.5 hours. First thing then, Chris, before we go into the nights, because obviously we'll start with Night 1, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is the grand total of fans. 70,071 fans in attendance.
I have a point to make about this. You notice how Night 1 has 10,000 more than Night 2?
You do notice that, and I feel like because of the way New Japan booked, and because, Night 2, you weren't sure and things like that, that might have been a potential stalling point.
I have the official reason.
Oh, okay, go on then.
Arisa wasn't on Night 2.
Is that why you think?
That is definitely why.
Okay, and on whose authority do you have that?
Amazing.
Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, Dave Meltzer said, "No, Arisa, it was shit."
The official Wrestle Kingdom 14 breakdown on day 1, 40,008 people. Now, just for reference, Wrestle Kingdom 13, last year's Wrestle Kingdom, which of course was main evented by Kenny Omega and Hiroshi Tanahashi, drew 38,162 fans, while Wrestle Kingdom 12, which of course ultimately had the same main event as Wrestle Kingdom 14, drew 34,995. To draw 40,000 to any wrestling show is absolutely incredible, but to then draw a further 30,000 the second night it's a real feather in the cap for Wrestle Kingdom and for New Japan.
No, yeah, exactly. And just keep getting bigger and bigger each year. You have to wonder when the bubble's going to pop, but this is literally what I thought was going to be the popping point, but then these shows just made me love New Japan again. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's delve into these shows, because we'll have things to say about some matches and not necessarily for others. So the pre-show, of course, of Night 1, which started, I have a little apology to make, because on the preview show, I said that the stated times were the times that the main card started. So on Night 1 at 7 a.m., I thought that was when the main card started. It wasn't. That was when the pre-show started. So we all got an extra hour in bed in England on the GMT time schedule, so
excuse me, we're not all from fucking England.
You're not Scottish, Chris. Nobody think...
I'm legit. I'm actually Scottish. It says it on my fucking provisional license and everything.
I'm legit Scottish.
I have a young Scot card.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, no, it gives you discounts on buses. Actually, that's a lie. I don't have it anymore. Because
you're not a young Scot.
No, I'm an old Scot. No, I just lost it.
You're such a child.
I don't lose my rail card. I know my ABCs and my 1, 2, 3s.
So let's start on the pre-show of Night 1. We started with 8-man tag team action. I mean, officially we started with the dark match, the Stardom match with Mayu Iwatani and Arisa, your absolute favourite in all the world, taking on the team of Hana Kimura and Julia. Apparently a really, really good match. Got some real heat towards the end. Obviously, we are never going to see that match on New Japan World due to conflicts between the station that houses Stardom and the station that houses Wrestle Kingdom. Whether it one day surfaces on Stardom TV, I don't know.
I hope it does, because Stardom has stuff, whenever their wrestlers go somewhere, they end up putting it up on, we went to Pro Wrestling Eve in London and they put that up. So, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Just very quickly comment on who's in it. I'm not sold at all on Julia. Apparently she was from, Ice Ribbon or something, and ever since getting to Stardom, she's just not impressed me at all. I say that, I haven't seen her Hana match, which is apparently good, but, Hana Kimura is not great either. She's more like a look than a wrestler. She's the Roman Reigns of Stardom. And I say that, people actually love her. And to a creepy extent, a really creepy extent, because she's my age, and people are like, "Oh, she's the perfect woman." It's weird. And also Arisa and Mayo. It's funny because it's my stardom favorite and your stardom favorite in a tag team.
It is. It's almost like it was just meant to be. Going back to your previous point, I did watch the Hana Kimura and Julia match, and it was good. It was decent. It was a knockout, drag-out brawl.
Yeah, you don't really get that from Hana. Like, she plays a lot of comedy a lot of the time, and the only time I've really seen her like do drag-outs is in like the 5-star GP and against B Priestley when she went for the title. So,
I mean, I'd give it, if we're going on a Meltzer scale, I'd give it 3 3/4. I don't think it's quite 4 stars.
Well, yeah. How was Kagetsu? Very quickly, how was Kagetsu versus May?
I'd give it 4. Was it 4.5? I had some issues with the selling, which is one of my issues.
Honestly, I think you're just gonna have to shift for the style because we don't wrestle like other places.
Yeah, suspend the disbelief. It was still a really, really good match.
You watch Dragon Gate, so like you can get away with some bad selling.
I'd still give it 4.25, touching 4.5.
Nice.
So yeah, that was the first match with Team Mayu getting the win over Team Hana. First officially televised match was match 1, 8-man tag team match with the team of Toa Hanare, Carl Fredericks, Alec Coughlin, and Clark Connors defeating the team of Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura. I always struggle with that name, and I don't know why. Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Honma at 7 minutes and 36 seconds with the Toa bottom.
That's what it's called.
That's genuine what it's called. Did you not hear it called that on commentary?
No, I was still waking up, Rob.
Yeah, it's called the Toa bottom, which I don't know. I'm caught in two minds really because it is better than his spear, but it's also got a terrible, terrible name.
But like that's not hard. Like I could throw a better spear. Like because like he picks them up and hugs them to the ground. It's what I do when I spear Meneses.
Not a bad match, to be perfectly honest. I haven't got a lot to say. It's your typical Young Lion match. Again, fairly hard-hitting. I love the rivalry between the New Japan Dojo and the LA Dojo. Carl Fredericks continues on his ascent. I cannot wait to see what he is like when he comes back.
Is it just me or do like the LA Dojo guys have more personality than the New Japan Dojo?
Do you think, though, that is a difference between dojos?
Yeah, but I say that. Like, Shibata's teaching at the LA Dojo, isn't it? So, like, he's not exactly going to teach you to be emotional as Shibata.
Well, no, actually, I disagree. On the Dash show, when Coughlin opened up, he was having a very, very heated exchange, I think, with Hanare. And one of the commentators, I can't remember who it was, said that, I think it was Chris Charlton, said that Shibata had actually said that Coughlin needs to show that anger in the ring and needs to really bring it out in his striking and the way he moves. So actually, it actually looks like Shibata is actually condoning and actually trying to bring out that emotion in a couple of his guys.
Maybe. To be fair, like also like they have more impressive moveset probably because they were like wrestlers before entering the dojo.
That certainly helps. Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're doing like fucking deadlifts, gut wrenches and shit like that. So like, I don't know. I think it's literally just a case of training. Like I don't know what their ceiling is. Maybe this is their ceiling. But to be fair, the two Young Lion matches were really enjoyable. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that's all really we need to say about it. It's nice to see Toa Hanare getting a pinfall victory at a Wrestle Kingdom, even if it's on the pre-show. I think fingers crossed. There are decent things ahead for him, but we'll see. We'll see. It could be a slow burn. Yeah, and I think with announcements post Wrestle Kingdom and post New Year Dash, it's I don't know. I can see the writing on the wall for Honma. He's
not long for this world.
He's certainly not long for the ring. He's got a very limited moveset now. I am terrified every time he takes a bump. I don't know. We'll soon see.
It's like watching your granddad walk up the stairs.
Oh, I feel like I should love Honma, and then watching the match at the New Beginning in Sendai against Ishii in 2015, it just makes you realise that it's such a loss, and I feel so sorry for him.
Yeah, but he's getting on, so like it makes sense that he can't really move anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I gave this 5 stars out of 10. What did you give it, Chris?
5, yeah.
Yeah, completely inoffensive, really, really good. Match 2 then, the final match of Night 1's pre-show was a tag team match with Tenkoji defeating Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi at 5 minutes and 47 seconds with the Lariat. This match, Chris, infinitely better than their World Tag League final day match.
Yeah, because fucking they only had to go 5 minutes.
Everyone got their shit in. Nakanishi, this ironically was the best I've seen Nakanishi since I started watching New Japan.
No, Nakanishi's never been good the whole time I've been watching New Japan. I've been watching a couple of years before you did. And like, here's the thing, every time I talk to like someone who's been watching New Japan from like the mid 2000s when Nakanishi was having his big run, but like, yeah, he's basically a company guy who got a run. And it's like, that makes sense, because who the fuck else is hiring Nakanishi?
Yeah, so again, it's nice to get the dads on Wrestle Kingdom. Chris Charlton again providing excellent commentary and saying that this is, I believe, Yuji Nagata's 24th consecutive Tokyo Dome show. I'm sure that's the number. I will double check, but I'm sure that's the number, in which case, Jesus Christ. Fair enough to him. Completely inoffensive match. Again, like I said, far better than their previous match. I gave it 5 just because I think it needs to be sort of differentiated from that World Tag League match.
What did he give the World Tag League match?
4.
See, the Tag League match from last year I gave it 2.
It is historically the worst rated match on the Young Lion, I believe.
In the time I've been doing it, and then fucking Nakanishi versus Yoshihashi happened, and like, that's worse.
Oh yeah, from the New Japan Cup. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they wanted. I'm sure that match was. Well, that entire tournament was supposed to be seen as, some manner of coming out party for Yoshihashi, and sticking in with Manabu Nakanishi in the opening round, I feel like was fairly counterproductive.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to teach someone guitar by giving them a piano.
Yeah, absolutely. And ironically, Nakanishi moves like a piano. So,
he moves like a fucking tree. Actually, I'm pretty sure the trees in Lord of the Rings are more mobile than him.
We move on then, and we move on to the opening of the show, and we open up with the Jushin Thunder Liger retirement 8-man tag team match with the team of Taguchi, Naoki Sano, Sanjaro Otani, and Takaiwa defeating Jushin Thunder Liger, the Great Sasuke, Tatsumi Fujinami, and Tiger Mask at 8 minutes and 52 seconds with the Dodon. Now, Chris, before we get into anything, the result. And I know it's bizarre to start a review with the result. I am perfectly content with Liger losing in his second match, in his second retirement match on night 2. I understand that. It makes booking sense. It makes historical sense. It just makes sense. Why, oh fucking why, did Jushin Thunder Liger lose this match? And not only lose this match, did Taguchi, the ass man, whose offense is purely arse-based, why did he, of all people, get the pinfall? Honestly, when he hit the Dodon, I physically said out loud, "Don't you fucking dare."
Right, so, first of all, Taguchi, if he has it, he should flaunt at it. And second of all, he's a young up-and-comer, Rob. We need to put him over.
I disagree. Fucking bullshit.
Okay, let's talk about the positives. Because honestly, like, the result of this match isn't my favourite part. My favourite part is Sano. Because what the fuck?
Yeah, we talked about on the preview show, Chris, about how we weren't sure, these were all absolutely outstanding in their field when they were, at peak age. Tatsumi Fujinami, just a little bit of a side note, getting an absolutely outstanding reception, as you would hope.
What a robe.
The man is regal. Have you
ever watched a Tatsumi Fujinami match?
I haven't.
He always struck me as like a mini Inoki. But like, I probably pissed off a lot of people by saying that.
Oh, well, that's half our subscriber base gone. Thanks, Chris. You dick.
Fucking, like, it's the black trunks. It's like fucking, if you don't want it, it's sort of like how every time I see Kira Taue, I just think Baba.
Yeah, fair enough. I can see that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We were slightly worried about how a lot of these men would go. But Jesus, from Bell 1, this match was not what I expected at all. Sano, a suicide dive.
Yeah, and like fucking. To be fair, he sort of overtook the discourse of the match, quite frankly, because like we haven't even mentioned how great Sasuke's mask was.
Yeah, there was a lot of great Liger tributes during this match. Tiger Mask, of course, was half red, half yellow. The red for Liger, obviously. I thought that was quite a nice touch.
I kind of love how all their entrance videos was Liger beating the shit out of them.
They all had Liger tributes. It was just a shame that we didn't get the actual music that they were using. Obviously, we got the it's dubbed over.
This is not the biggest example of it on both nights, but
no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Seriously, New Japan, just fucking, it's Wrestle Kingdom. Don't cheap out. Like, Progress lets people use fucking copyrighted songs for Super Strong Style. You're fucking bigger than Progress.
Yeah, but I think with it being a huge show, they will probably have a few more complaints from bands as opposed to Progress, who only, a handful of wrestling fans in comparison know about.
Yeah, but at the same time, Tyler Bate coming out to Sledgehammer, perfect. But yeah, because like the only thing that disappointed me about this match was the lack of a Sasuke special. And to be honest, that pissed me off on the All Japan show from the night before as well.
Well, we did get a Sasuke special, just not from the Great Sasuke.
Like, we got one hell of a fucking Sasuke special. But like, come on, Sasuke, it's your fucking namesake.
I thought Shinjiro Otani was absolutely outstanding as well. Thought he had a really, really good showing. Liger still showed during this match that he can hang with the absolute best. He was head and shoulders, in a better match quality-wise than we thought he was ever going to be. He was still head and shoulders above those people, and I have no doubt whatsoever that he still had 2, even 3 years left in him, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, but I kind of like the story of he lost to Ishimori, so it's like, well, I said that was going to be my last shot, so I might as well fucking retire now. It's
a beautiful story, and I understand... I do understand.
He's probably still going to be kicking about. He'll be on commentary, and Kenta will attack him at some point.
Kenta, what a fucking legend. No, I know that, and I know that he'll probably do stuff in the dojo and things like that. And I know that him being an old timer, he will want to go out on his back, so to speak. I don't know. Was Taguchi the person to do this?
Who do you have do? Well, I guess Sano, but
I don't know. I just feel if we're doing the rival thing, was Taguchi the biggest rival that Liger had in this match?
I don't think they had to be honest, I don't even think they had a rivalry.
I think they had a couple of matches, which is fair enough, but
because I don't think Liger and Fujinami had a rivalry. Just Fujinami's like the first junior champion, so it's like what happened there. I didn't know he was still alive. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I knew he was in the WWE Hall of Fame, but obviously once he got announced for this match, I thought, oh bloody hell! Okay, fair enough.
He can still move.
He can.
Fair, that's not the only oh shit I thought he was dead moment of the weekend. But yeah, this is fun. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know, as someone who enjoys going back, it was interesting to see what these people look like now. I say that you couldn't see what half of them look like because they all wear masks, but
No, that is true. And I must admit, I did enjoy the crowd marking out and the commentary team marking out for Fujinami locking in a Dragon Sleeper.
Yeah, but to be fair, has anyone ever done it better?
Well, this sort of brings me on to match 2 in a moment, because something someone says just had me in absolute hysterics. It was brilliant. Come post-match, everyone, all 10 men, in the ring with Liger. Liger is hoisted up onto the shoulders of the great Sasuke and Tiger Mask. It's a really, really good, cathartic feeling. The crowd, of course, saying goodbye to Liger on the 4th of January, that really important date, that really historic date in New Japan's calendar. Really, really good send-off for him in this, basically, the Ages of Liger tag match is what I was calling it before. I gave it 6 out of 10.
I gave it, my thing, if you look at as much fun as I had, if you look at it objectively, it's like, it's a 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's only a 6 without Sano dive.
I think as well, it surprised a lot of people with how much these people can still go.
I remember someone was going, on Twitter, every Wrestle Kingdom there's a bunch of WWE fans going into New Japan wanting to hate it, so we don't need to admit that they waste their lives. And so they go in and start they start picking apart at every little thing. We're like, oh, do they always just open well with dads? I'm like, well, yes, but like in this case, for the reason.
Yeah, and all of the Liger interactions over this 3-day extravaganza of New Japan Pro Wrestling, there was a lump in my throat. There was a tear in my eye. It was a really, really, it was a beautiful way to send off a person who has been so pivotal to pro wrestling in general, not just New Japan. I just thought it was what an absolutely amazing way to send him off, and I can't think of any better way to do it, and this was a great match. It was far better than I thought it was going to be, so yeah, excellent. Well done, New Japan. We move on then to the second match on the main card. Suzuki-gun in an 8-man tag team match with the team of Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, and El Desperado, defeating Los Ingonobles de Japón, the team of Bushi, Evil, Sanada, and Shingo at 8 minutes 39 seconds with the Jim's break armbar. This was pointless, had no storyline advancement whatsoever, and the best thing about this was once Zack Sabre Jr. had tapped out Bushi with the Jim's break armbar and refused to release it, Sanada came in and attempted to put him in the skull end. Zack Sabre Jr. rolled out of the ring and said, "That's an abomination, with Fujinami here as well. How dare you?" Outstanding. Outstanding. It's the moment of the match. Absolute moment of the match. But otherwise, just...
5, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a match. It's a roadie match.
It was literally as middle of the road as you can possibly get.
I mean, Shingo threw a pumping bomber. That's always fun. But, like, again, not the best example of it we got this weekend. So.
No, exactly. This wasn't even the best Shingo match of the weekend, for God's sake. So...
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's probably the worst Shingo match of the weekend.
Well, yeah, probably. I don't know. It was good. It was solid. But yeah, I don't feel like I can give it more than 5 stars because there was nothing there. It was setting up Sanada and Zack Sabre Jr. for night 2.
Have you noticed that Mio Abe very quickly has been missing in action? What the fuck has she gone?
Yeah, you'd think that they would be sort of flaunting her with Taichi on the biggest show. You know, she's a big part of Taichi's character. I did realise as well that they came out to Zack Sabre Jr.'s music instead of Minoru Suzuki. And yeah. I thought, that's it. Nailed on. Suzuki's leaving. They're turning on him. And nothing. Absolutely nothing. And obviously that will become clearer as to why later on in the show. Second consecutive pointless 8-man tag. And this, in my opinion, was worse. And we'll get into that in a minute. Wait.
It wasn't, though.
It was. 8-man tag team match with the Chaos team of Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Toriyano, defeating the Bullet Club team of Kenta, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Yujiro Takahashi at 8 minutes and 17 seconds with the GTR. Now, Chris, search your soul, okay? As Bryan Adams would say, search your heart, search your soul. You know it to be true, my friend. Tomohiro Ishii managing to suplex Bad Luck Fale, as impressive a feat as that is, an incredible feat as that is, and as big a pop as it got, okay, this was crap. This was a road to match. Even the heat between Kenta and Goto, there was more in the Suzuki-gun LIJ match, in the previous match, than there was to this. I agree that spot was great. I cannot give it more than 4 stars just because Ishii managed to hit a suplex on Bad Luck Fale. You've got a team where you've got Kenta, who, don't get me wrong, considering, just over a year ago, he was being shat on in the WWE, riddled with injuries. He'd had 30 or 40 matches on 205 Live or something ridiculous. Already had more than that in New Japan. Even though they had him on that team, you've still got on that team Bad Luck Fale and Yujiro Takahashi. Yujiro Takahashi has 2 moves. He has a sliding drop kick and a kick to the gut. Those are his 2 moves. If you've got Bad Luck Fale and a man with 2 moves, that's not a good match. Even Chase Owens was boring in this match, and I love Chase Owens. This was not a Wrestle Kingdom match at all.
I thought it was fun. We got some Yano bollocks.
My one favourite Yano bit was him slapping, and it was a proper good slap, on Bad Luck Farley's head. Oh, just because he's bald, it went... It made a proper good.
It's like a fucking shotgun.
It just... Yeah. I mean, probably the biggest takeaway of this was the fact that Yoshihashi got his first win at the Tokyo Dome in his 9th attempt, and he didn't even get the fucking pinfall. It was dull as balls. I must admit, I will say this weekend, Goto has looked like an absolute fucking boss.
Oh, yeah. Goto's been, like, the biggest daddy.
Can you believe, I know he always pulls it out of the bag for Wrestle Kingdom, that's by the by, but can you believe how, considering this was a man that we slagged off repeatedly through 2018, can you believe how much he's turned it around?
Well, here's the thing. The point where I started to not like Goto is when he kept winning back for championship. So he just started suffocating the scene.
Yeah, no,
so
fair
he's
enough.
He's been away from it for a year, so like I'm sort of like, okay, I'll be relatively fresh now, and Elgin's gone. So
yeah, even so,
and also he did my boy Taichi quite dirty.
He did. I mean, it was really cool when he pinned Yujiro with... I said Yujiro really weirdly then. Yujiro. When he pinned Takahashi with the GTR, but he looked at Kenta the entire time. That was pretty badass. But
they just look, and then it's like, what you say?
Just keeps restarting on every camera angle.
Yeah, it just goes black and white. And fucking Imogen Heat is just playing, and it's like, perfect.
But no, in my opinion, this has to be 4 because it was worse than the previous match. And, you know, I've just said that one of the most memorable spots was a slap on the head. Think of that, Chris.
I mean, like, if someone slaps Suzuki, you'd probably remember it.
It's Farley, mate. He can't move. This was so the piss break match.
You know what would be quite funny if someone slapped Farley and then slow motion started running away because Farley can't chase him.
Even so, 4 stars. I don't feel like we should give that match any more thought. It will be, unfortunately, relegated to the annals of time with absolutely no one remembering anything about it, unfortunately. We move then to the next match on the card, and this was the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships match, the first championship match of night 1, and this is where the action really picked up for me. We had Finn Juice defeating the champions, the Gorillas of Destiny, at 13:25 with the acid drop. I know I've just said this is where the action sort of picked up. It was a good match. It just lacked a little bit of something. Now, obviously, you had the attack right at the start with GOD laying out Juice, who took a fucking nasty bump on that ramp to start it off, especially as he was fighting again on night 2. I'm surprised he took that bump.
Yeah, and he had to stay at the YMCA, which wouldn't have helped his back.
Jesus Christ! What the fuck? I mean... Oh my God. I mean, we can't make a sweeping statement and say that is the worst get-up in history, because never forget that Goto came out in a shirt that said the G and G1 is for Goto.
I miss that shirt now.
I miss that shirt. I saw someone put it on Twitter not so long ago, and they said, was this really a fucking shirt? And I retweeted it because it's the best wrestling shirt ever. Just really cheaply made. I mean, the G and G1 is for Goto.
Like, the only ones I can think are better is the AJ Styles one, but it looks like someone fucking spunked on the shirt.
Oh, yeah, the TNA one.
Yeah, and then the Sin Cara penis t-shirt.
I remember the Sin Cara penis t-shirt.
To be fair, there's a lot of them. Like, apparently it's very easy to accidentally make a penis. Like the Little Mermaid VHS cover. They're all penises.
Do you know what? I don't think that it's easy to draw penises. I just think we're in a society now where everything is such a double entendre that everyone just sees them.
Maybe we're a bunch of degenerates, is what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. This generation is such a generation of degenerates.
I mean, we're in different generations, Rob.
You keep telling yourself that, son.
No, I fucking literally, you're fucking a millennial and I'm Gen Z.
You have no idea how much I want to slap you. Proper Yano and Farley style.
To be completely fair, my friend Jen was like, "Oh, you know, it's like for us millennials." I'm like, "I'm actually too young to be a millennial," and she's like, "That's the worst thing you've ever said to me."
It is, mate. You have no idea how much I want to knee you in the nads.
You want to do that when I just mentioned Tai Chi.
That is true. For me, aside from that bump, and I think they did the right thing in highlighting Finlay as sort of the star in this match, which they did. I don't know whether it's because I'm sort of down on the Gorillas of Destiny at the moment. Their run with the titles has been relatively uninspired. I don't know whether it's because I really, really liked the Finlay Juice Evil and Sonata match from the World Tag League final, and this just wasn't on that level. There just didn't seem, considering this was a championship match, for me, there didn't seem to be a lot of heat going into it. With that being said, there was nothing wrong with this match, and there was some great spots. I don't know. What did you think?
I love the Gorillas of Destiny theme.
That Gorillas of Destiny theme is fire.
It's fucking amazing. I'm trying to think of it in my top. It's probably in my top 5 New Japan themes.
Evils is a banger.
Evils isn't better than God either. In terms of what's better than God, I think it is Osprey.
Osprey's is a decent one, yeah.
Fucking what's his face? Suzuki, obviously.
Obviously, number one. Liger.
Well, yeah, but that's not really in there anymore.
Dickhead! Why would you say that?
What else?
I'm a mark for Bushi's, mate. Bushi's is a banger as well.
Bushi is fine. Ibushi's is great. Go Ace.
Right. What the fuck is that remix?
Well, how about we go on to that when we go on to night 2?
Because there's a rank coming with that. Anyway, here.
In the body. Yeah, like the best part of this was the Gorillas of Destiny. Also, like how they shoot the Gorillas of Destiny coming down the ramp always makes them look much cooler than they are. Like, do you remember, like, especially like Dominion when they were coming down the ramp? I'm like, oh shit, these guys are legit. And then the match happened. But
that's a story of Gorillas of Destiny's year, in my opinion.
Well, like, it's like, oh yeah, Gorillas of Destiny are really good. Wait, no, they're not. I'm trying to think of like the most memorable Gorillas matches. It's probably Wrestle Kingdom 10. Wrestle Kingdom 11 for obvious reasons.
Carino.
Fuck you! I hate you, motherfucker! And the Bucks, but like, if you're not having a good match with the Bucks, who the fuck are you?
That match at Royal Quest with Aussie Open was decent.
Yeah, but also like that's all on Aussie Open, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. But
and also like a hot UK crowd. To be fair, I'd say this is better than the Aussie Open match, in my opinion.
It was still a good match. It was still a good match. I don't know. I wanted it to have more heat than it did. I love the fact that David Finlay was the man who got the pinfall over Tangaloa. I thought he was great. He hit him with the acid drop. I gave it 7 stars.
I gave it 7 too. I really enjoyed it. It's when I properly first woke up. Finally.
Oh God. Sorry, just smack. I was eating cheese.
Can't take you anywhere, Rob. I don't know. I'm just glad Tamatonga's not doing solo stuff anymore.
The only thing is now, I mean, we'll talk about some teams later on that have become heavyweight tag teams. Where do the Gorillas of Destiny go from here? Are we just going to have multi-mans now until they, inevitably get the belts back?
They're just going to be Bullet Club's heavy tag team, so like they'll get a shot every once in a while.
Yeah, I never ever want to see another Tangaloa singles match, and I think Tamatonga is, I think it's fairly obvious that we're not going to see another singles match with him in it now.
I could have done Tangaloa was better when he was Camacho.
Yeah, imagine saying you were better in the WWE. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's very rare, but like he like in when I had the dude from Irish Whip on for an NXT review, he really enjoyed the Adam Rose Camacho match.
In like an ironic way.
He attempted to give it an 8, Rob.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he understand the rating system?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's simple, Rob. I think I just think he really likes
Adam Rose.
Oh, to be fair, I used to love Adam. He back in 2K15, he was my IC champion. So this is before I discovered good wrestling.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving on. Next championship match, we had the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship Texas Death Match, with the returning Jon Moxley defeating the champion Lance Archer at 14 minutes and 26 seconds via knockout. A really, really good match, Chris.
Yes, first of all, Archer's theme's finally been remixed to be less jarring when it gets into the Everybody Dies bit.
Yes, it has. I don't know whether it was just the mix, but it seemed far better.
That it flowed. Honestly, the only way you could have had it be fucking more jarring when it goes into Everybody Dies bit if it was like a fucking Bob Dylan song. Like it comes to how many roads must a man walk down? Everybody would be like that.
Can we just quickly make a point?
Go on.
What do you think my point's going to be?
Is it going to be I should stop singing on this podcast?
Yes, absolutely. No, seriously.
Oh.
Lance Archer is 42 years old.
Oh, fuck, really?
He's 42 years old, wait, and is 2 years removed from breaking his back.
Ugh. Okay.
In this match, he was diving over the ropes onto the floor.
Undertaker, basically.
He was choke slamming people. He was taking bumps through tables on the outside. And he is 42 years old and 2 years removed from breaking his back. This man has had an absolutely amazing year.
I remember texting you during this, and I never thought I'd be saying this at any point, but Lance Archer is fucking bumping circles around Jon Moxley.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I was always a little bit concerned about how these two making it a Texas death match. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a little bit too. I worried it was going to be Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley from Full Gear, basically, where
also,
it got a little bit gimmicky.
I commend this for not saying Jon Moxley yet, but yeah. This is really fun, really good plunder. This is not what you normally get on a. I'm trying to think of the last time we got something like this on a Wrestle Kingdom. Probably I can't think. We don't normally get shit like this. Which is, again, I say this every time the IWGP US title is defended, but I like how it has that American niche now.
No, I agree, and I'm glad we didn't go too. Despite the label of this match, despite the fact that it was called a Texas Death Match, and aside from the fact that, Lance Archer tried to legit suffocate Moxley with a plastic fucking bag over his head.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm trying to think what's worse, that or Killer Cross succeeding in waterboarding the Sandman.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great at all. I don't know, I really, really enjoyed this match, and it was similar. I was really looking forward to the Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley match from Full Gear. And
I really enjoyed that. I seem to be in a minority.
It went too long, and we had too much gimmicked weaponry, whereas this, the use of weapons felt organic. At no point did it feel stupidly gimmicky. It only lasted 14 minutes, and it didn't lose momentum and steam whilst he was setting up weapons. We had Moxley going through chairs after Archer hit him with the blackout. We had tables being used. We had the basics being used. At no point did it descend into being stupid. And I thought that was and it was the first, really, it was a really good match of this show.
The biggest surprise about this was the fact that Japanese tables actually broke.
And Jesus, did they break? Did you see the state of Lance Archer's arm afterwards?
Yeah, Jesus.
Massive gash in it. Massive gash.
I kind of feel sorry for Archer, but like clearly the plan was always for Moxley and Juice to have a blow off. So like this is like a roundabout way to get it. But like if they really wanted to do that, we should have just put it on Juice. But then again, I guess there's no like natural program for Juice. So like I don't know, it felt like a very roundabout way to get to where we ended up.
I have a question. Do you think Jon Moxley was the correct choice to win this match?
I know you're going to bring the fact that he can't defend it in America. But also, Jesus had too many failed runs with the title. And it's not his fault. We book him awfully when he had it. But like, it's sort of like how it's not Fantastic Four's fault that it only has shit movies made about it, so it can't be a movie franchise anymore. It's kind of like that.
Do you think
like,
then?
I'm not being funny, Jon Moxley versus Juice is a bigger draw than Archer versus Juice, and also is a better prospect.
Well, in that case, don't make it Juice on night 2. We talked about in the preview how we couldn't understand why there were some wrestlers who were wrestling twice on both nights. Why not have, as you've already stated, we had loads of people not on the card, or we had loads of people in ridiculous multi-man tags. Have the New Japan Rumble and have that person who wins that Rumble put them in an IWGP United States Championship match on night 2.
I guess, but at the same time, you need to get maybe that was the plan, but we need to get the championship back on Moxley. Because you're not going to put Moxley in the Rumble, are you?
That's fine. I don't mind that. Still have this match on night 1. Still have Moxley versus Lance Archer on night 1. That's fine. Good match. Really enjoyed it. I gave it 8 stars. What I mean is, on night 2 then, instead of just giving Juice another shot at it, that spot should have been filled by the person who won the New Japan Rumble. Say a Shingo. Say an Evil. Say a Kojima.
Yeah. Say a Naganishi.
But do you see what I mean?
If it's on the pre-show, we could have had a Risa.
We could have had a Risa, yeah. Mayu, oh my god!
To be fair, I do not want to see fucking Mayu step in the ring. Like, I imagine she'd sort of just crumble.
To be perfectly honest, the way Mayu sells, there's a chance she would legitimately break in half.
I fucking love how she throws a super kick, because like Marufuji used to do this as well, when throws the super kick and then sort of like just sort of falls and rolls out of it. Like, it's just, to be fair, Mayu puts a fucking neck through the ringer. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she really does. She really does.
We did not need to see her against Moxley or Archer. I say that, I do now, and I'm going to do it in Fire Pro later. But
really good match. I gave it 8 stars. What did you give it, Chris?
I also gave it 8. It was like just really like the first great match on this show.
Then this was followed by Holy Shit, the Musical.
Well, we should first say that Garth doesn't like this match very much.
This isn't Garth's style, and he's never once said that this was his style. It was more a case of...
No, he prefers Terry Gordy versus Rollerball Rocco in the Sportatorium.
However, he did really like the main event of night 1, so we will give him that at least. Anyway...
he has some taste. But yeah, no, this match was fucking insane.
It was.
It was both insane which I haven't said away, it's Takahashi versus Ospreay. And it was like, it's insane from both A, they kept landing on their fucking head, and B, they kept doing really insane, like, this is something Jim Cornette has nightmares about. Yeah.
The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match, Hiromu Takahashi, the returning Hiromu Takahashi, even though we had a couple of matches on the road to Tokyo Dome, but we don't talk about that, defeated Will Ospreay, the champion, at 24 minutes and 32 seconds with, and it has been officially named, in typical boring Hiromu style, the Time Bomb 2.
Bomb 2. To be fair, like, he should not be allowed to name his own shit anymore after the D.
After the D. The shenanigans with the D. That was brilliant.
It's like, yes, it's called the V. Oh, no.
I mean, this was just unreal levels.
I can't think of a better junior. Like, this is better than the Shingo match.
Ooh. I can't say that. I can't say that because for me, they are two different matches. Shingo is not going to fight in the same way Takahashi is.
The Ishimori-Takahashi match is probably a better comparison, then. Of the Brilliant Vow was also very different because Takahashi didn't fall down the stairs in this match.
Okay, well let's say this is better than Takahashi versus Kushida.
Yeah, but again, like Kushida's very different from Ospreay.
Is this better than their Dominion match?
Yeah, no, this is the best Ospreay Takahashi match we've had.
Yeah, they've had. I know they've had at least 3 because obviously they had one at the New Beginning in Sapporo.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2017, so 3 years ago. Jesus Christ. It's better than any Dragon Lee Takahashi match, which is hard to imagine. It's better than the Dragon Lee Ospreay match. This is probably the best comparison we can make.
Honestly, just an absolutely baffling display of pro wrestling. You'd got spot after spot after spot, and trying to list the spots would be ridiculous because almost every move was a ridiculous spot. I know Chris is going to go into the big moment of the match, I'm sure, but there was one match where they were literally innovating stuff during the match. Kevin Kelly called something as a made in Japan, and Will Ospreay's come out on Twitter and say it wasn't quite a made in Japan. It was basically some kind of Australian cradle slam, and it just unbelievable. You look at it and just go, the choreography of trying not to break Hiromu's neck again, and the fact that Ospreay throughout this match was clearly targeting Hiromu's neck, and the fact that he was on.
There was a point where Ospreay narrowly missed the drop kick, and everyone's like, "Well, match ruined." I'm like, Jesus Christ!
I mean, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
So very quickly, I need to I know it's like the main part of this match, but Jesus, so like Ospreay goes for a Sasuke special, gets caught by Hiromu. German suplex. I'm not saying if a German suplex had landed, that would still have been amazing. But Ospreay flips out of a German suplex, goes, and Takahashi tries to throw her back into the ring, which again would have been amazing. But no, Ospreay somehow slid in and did the Sasuke special. I was just there going, what the fuck just happened? I was just fucking I didn't know what the fuck to think. When you're a child and the first time you see, I don't know, a monkey eat a frog or something. It's like, what the fuck did I just see?
You went for monkey eating a frog.
I panicked, Rob. Have you not seen a monkey eat a frog? It was a viral video.
Well, I've never seen a monkey eat a frog. Anyway, this I don't really know how to come back from that. This was baffling, and Hiromu eventually hitting the time bomb and Ospreay kicking out. It was like, what the fuck? And then Takahashi unfurls this absolutely ridiculous new finish that he hadn't yet got a name for, slams Ospreay down on his neck. You immediately think, well, that's it, he dead, and gets the title back, and the Dome loses its shit, and rightly so. What a fucking match.
This move is like the mix of a Bloody Sunday and Emerald Flosion if Misawa hated people's necks more than he already did.
It was just I loved this match, and I go back to that Wrestle Kingdom 13 match between Kushida and Taiji Ishimori, and how I said in the lead up to that, this is my sleeper match for match of the night, and it really disappointed me. I know it didn't disappoint everyone, but me personally, it really disappointed, and I had that slight nag, even though Ospreay has undoubtedly been our Wrestler of the Year this year. He's had a year like no other, in my opinion, just his consistency, and I just had that little niggling doubt, I really, really hope they don't basically fuck up, and it's shit, and it wasn't. Holy shit. Absolutely amazing match. I mean, the time flew by. They gave it time. They gave it a story. Ospreay being this arrogant, cocky cunt, and just absolutely just reveling in it as well. Because he knew he wasn't going to come into this match as a face with Hiromu coming back.
It's actually quite entertaining for me, as a Progress fan, watching people go, I didn't know Ospreay could work heel. I'm like, well, he really can. He managed to make people cheer Jimmy Havoc. That's how good a heel Ospreay is.
But even the little stuff, like the lying on the ropes, just, I know that most people do that. Tyler Breeze does that, for God's sake. But even so, just it really, really helped me get invested in a match I was already, balls out for. It was a great, 10 stars, man. 10 stars.
Oh, fucking, yeah, I don't know if you can call it anything, unless you Garth, in which case it's 7. But
well, yeah, which is just wrong.
This is a call-out. Like, calling Garth out for 2 things. 1, that, and 2, I put up a picture of me in makeup and he didn't compliment me. Neither did you, Rob, you cunt. But, yeah, I love this match.
You looked beautiful.
I did. I looked fucking iconic.
We move on then. Semi-main event, the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match with Tetsuya Naito defeating the champion Switchblade Jay White at 33 minutes and 54 seconds, hitting him with the Destino. Now, Chris, I have seen online quite a lot of, not negative comments about this match, but still people thinking that it went too long and it was boring. Now,
I have a rebuttal for that. You're a fucking idiot if you think about it.
Okay.
No, literally, with Jay White, like, these are the same people going, oh, there's no good heels nowadays. And, like, Jay White is literally, like, an amazing heel because he puts on, like, this match had what the previous 2 White Naito matches were missing, and that was intensity. Like, you felt how desperate Naito was in this match, where you didn't quite feel it in the G1, and you definitely didn't feel it in Destruction. So, like, this match literally fixed all the holes, and there's people just being annoyed that it's not fucking Okada versus Ibushi when Jay White doesn't wrestle like that. Jay White wrestles clever. Like, for example, I know he's done it before, but the sitting down when Naito goes for Destino.
I agree. I love this match, by the way.
Oh, we both, like, people need to stop waiting for someone to tell them that Jay White is special, because he's just fucking special.
He's something so incredibly different. And I think the placement was never going to help this match, because you've got it in between the absolute car crash that was Hiromu versus Will Ospreay, and then you've got an all-time great match, spoiler, in the main event. And yeah, I completely agree with you, Chris, because I know what you're going to say. I completely agree. Jay White is a completely different type of wrestler. He tells a completely different story. He is an organic heel that people want to see lose, and that heel attitude, that having Gedo interfere, and I will say that did spoil it a little bit for me at night too, but we'll get on to that. I thought it was done beautifully here, because people could not see Naito lose again. And to Jay White, of all people, Jay White, who has made the last half of this year unbearable for Naito, to the point where Naito has had to change his entire outlook from Tranquilo to beat this cunt. And the match itself, it built, and it built, and it built. And honestly, even though anyone who's watched New Japan sort of had that inclination that Naito was going to go all the way, you still, when Jay White goes for the Blade Runner, you still think, don't you fucking dare. Oh my God, you still pop up. When Naito kicks out, you still pop up and go, oh, thank fucking Christ.
You know what got me in this match was that backdrop over the rope onto the, like the backdrop driver over the rope onto the apron. I was like, oh fuck, well, Naito's dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And
in fact, can we just say that Jay White has the best backdrop driver in New Japan right now?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Can we also say that Naito, who was on form for both nights here, as you would really hope he would be, the selling and the working from Jay White, again, the working of Jay White on one limb, targeting that limb, and it playing a part in the match. Jay White was relentless in fucking with Naito's knee, and Naito sold it. Oh my God, the selling. You were convinced that man was in fucking agony.
I have not seen a bet. Naito sells about knee all the time, right? It's just what Naito does. I've never seen him sell it better.
No, and I agree. It was... I mean, I've looked at Voices of Wrestling. They've given it 3 3/4 stars. I know that Grapple have given it something similar. And I know
Voices of Wrestling fucking is snobs a lot of the time.
Please don't call out the Voices of Wrestling. They're bigger than us. They'll squash us.
Fucking right. They're not probably like they're listening. And if you are, you're fucking snobs. You gave fucking Chris Brooks versus Ilya Dragunov 2 stars. Fuck off. But
oh, you're such a progress smark. Oh, you're such a Progress Mark. It hurts.
That could have been WXW for all you know.
It wasn't. You don't watch WXW. You watch Progress, Stardom, and New Japan.
And All Japan now. Thanks.
It's alright, mate.
But yeah, no, this match, like, it wasn't the fucking knockout. Well, I say knockout, drag out. That's what this was. It was like, I saw people call this a Randy Orton special, and like, I don't think we quite get what Randy Orton special is because Naito didn't spend this match in a headlock for no reason. Like like Jay White is not someone who wastes movement. Every movement from Jay White means something. And like, he is someone who holds up, and I know like most people don't want to go back and watch Jay White matches. He holds up so beautifully to a rewatch. Like, if you like rewatch like a Jay White match, going, I'm going to look for all these little things he does, you feel smarter as a wrestling fan.
If you don't go into it assuming that you are going to get the Kenny Omega Kota Ibushi 5-star event, and you actually take the time to look at what Jay White's doing, to actually read the story of the match, to, you know, to really embrace it and delve into it and really invest in whoever's taking on Jay White, it makes the match so much better. I mean, I don't care if I come across as smart. I gave it 10.
I gave it 10 as well. Because it's like this weekend really helped me figure out what's so good about Jay White. He takes like the standard like New Japan Tanahashi formula, but fucks with the cadence of it all. So like, you still get like a New Japan match, but like the cadence has been changed. It's sort of like a weird cover of a song. If you get my meaning, like, it's a Tanahashi match where like a limb's being targeted, but like he fucks with it, and he fucks with it beautifully, and he uses everything that he has to his advantage. And just again, people need to stop just going into a Jay, because honestly, I've kind of blamed Kenny Omega for this, because like, people just see a guy in New Japan and think they're going to act like Kenny Omega, and they're not. That's not what Jay White is.
No.
Like, these are a lot of people who criticize Jay White are the same people who look at Shayna Baszler and go, well, it's not all about the in-ring work, whereas Jay White's delivering the in-ring work while also doing the same shit. Like, it's just perfect. And honestly, like, I didn't think this is literally in like my top 5 Naito matches, probably.
You've got to remember as well, the Bullet Club are a heel faction. They're not a cool faction. They are supposed to be heels.
That's the thing. That's enough, because like, a lot of people came in around like end of Styles, beginning of Omega, and you came in Wrestle Kingdom 11, which I think a lot of people did, and they just see the Bullet Club as like, oh, it's this cool thing, too sweet, bro. And I'm sort of like, that's Ring of Honor Bullet Club. That's not New Japan Bullet Club. New Japan
Bullet Club are dicks, and they've sort of got back to that with Jay White and Kenta.
And like, I get they're probably selling less shirts, but I don't give a fuck, quite frankly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm not in it to know how much merch there's on. I'm in it because I want to invest in the product, and I think that helps it, certainly. I understand where people are coming from. I know that people might not enjoy the Switchblade. I mean, Jay White is not for everyone. I understand that. I fully understand that. And to be honest, you know, you're not wrong in not liking Jay White. There are wrestlers that loads of people like that I'm not a massive fan of. But for me, personally, and I know for you as well, Chris, the way Jay White tells a story and the way he builds up the person he's with, I think is brilliant. Did this match go a little bit too long? Maybe 5 minutes too long. But I'm sorry, I was so invested in this match, and I loved it. So, 10 stars from us, and yeah, potentially quite a divisive opinion, but I don't care. So we get to the main event, and this is something that is not divisive. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. Kazuchika Okada, the champion, defeating Kota Ibushi at 39 minutes and 10 seconds with a Rainmaker. Now, Chris, first thing to ask. Once Kazuchika Okada came out in brand new gear that glowed in the fucking dark, did Ibushi ever stand a chance?
No. Which, to be fair, because like, it's a shame, because like, again, Ibushi's theme gets you so hyped.
It does. It does.
Like, it's such a baby. It's like the most babyface theme this side of Johnny Gargano. But at the same time, like Okada strikes me a lot of the time not quite like New Year Dash sort of fix this, but like not like as a person, more like a threat. Like, he's a threat to your prolonged career.
Yeah,
it's like sort of in the same way. Like, well, like I can imagine Okada's more an obstacle than a human being, and he's a very hard obstacle, and he makes a lot of people hard. But no, like, what do you think of a New Gear?
I know you're not keen on it, are you?
It's for shorts.
See, I think he looked incredible. He looked majestic.
I love the entrance attire. It's for short. Like, if you had the same thing, but like his normal length shorts, that'd probably be fine. Because like, quite frankly, I'm not being funny. Taichi is the only person pulling off short shorts right now.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
They're so short though.
They are unnecessarily short.
That's the point.
Anyway, this match absolutely flew by, and before I noticed, we were like 25 minutes in, and I was like, where the fuck has that come from? I mean, let's be very, very clear here. Okada was a dick to Ibushi throughout this, constantly basically belittling him and saying, you're not on my level, you're nowhere near me, mate, come on, let's try and build it up a level. And Ibushi gives him everything, nothing. And eventually Okada fucks up.
Oh yeah, fucking Psycho Ibushi. There's only been, before this night, I can only think of two people who brought that out of him. That's Tana, because Tanahashi was deliberately trying to do that, and I think Nakamura managed it. But like, not many people. Like, when Psycho Ibushi comes out, you've been fucking with him quite a lot.
I mean, we got a point where Okada slaps Ibushi. This is after, by the way, Ibushi tries to go for a Hurricane Rana and lands on his own fucking neck.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why, Ibushi? Why must you be so Ibushi about everything?
Stop. Can someone just put like both Mayo Otani and Ibushi in like a padded cell?
Just honestly, just put them in a neck brace when they're not wrestling. Jesus, it happened, and then they replayed it. I was like, "What are you doing, Ibushi?
You crazy, sexy man, you."
He is a gorgeous man, and he fucking hell.
Absolutely. No, that's the thing. But as soon as he goes psycho, he's suddenly not very attractive, and it's sort of like, that's incredible.
It's not that he's not. Honestly, Okada slaps him, and basically, Ibushi does that wonderful thing where it was Terminator style, turns his head back round and makes eye contact with Okada, and there is not a single emotion in his face.
It's the face Garth makes when I say "Okay, boomer" to him.
Anyway, Ibushi fucking lays out Okada. Okada is on the floor, covering up.
He fucking shoots. He fucking Liger Suzuki shoots.
Now, in the G1, Kenta slaps the shit out of Okada, and it was gift, and everyone was like, holy shit, what the fuck is doing? And that was stiff. This was something else. Those punches, and they were closed fist punches. Yeah. Oh my god, it was uncomfortable.
That's the thing though, like Ibushi hit him really hard, but in safe places. With the exception, I think one got him in the head.
Yeah, he was punching the shoulder, but even so, if you suspend that disbelief for a second, fucking hell.
No, I think this match made me forget about how bad it would be to have Ibushi versus Naito again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, I just want Ibushi, because Ibushi's my favourite in New Japan right now, as you know, and I'm just like, oh, come on Ibushi. You're basically a dude-a-ritter, and I love it.
I mean, by this point now, the match is in, like, never mind second, third, fourth gear. This match was in fucking turbo.
This match was in full gear.
Yeah. They literally threw fucking everything at each other. Okada kicked out of a bomb IA at one.
There was a fucking Thunder Valley driver from Okada.
Okada pulled out fucking everything.
Yeah, the sit-out tombstone for Thunder. Yeah, fucking, I did not see that coming. And this is where it's weird. Like, this is the point where I'm like, oh yeah, Okada's fucking amazing, and then he loses the next night. Like, but
the speed of Ibushi never ceases to amaze me. And I know that you've had whatever issue with Okada and strangling the title and having that stranglehold on the title, and I do understand that. This match, good God, did he feel like a champion? Did it feel like the right person to hold that title?
He felt like a champion, but we have to sort of understand, like, in the 5 years now I've been watching New Japan, Okada's never been away from the title scene more than 6 months.
I was listening to the Super J-Cast, and they were saying that they weren't sure. They liked their G1 match, Okada and Ibushi, but they weren't sure if they were holding something back. Holding something back for potentially this Wrestle Kingdom main event before it was announced. And fucking hell, they threw everything at each other. And the speed of Ibushi, despite the fact that at this point we were nearly 40 minutes into this match, it was just amazing. Just the emotion, the storytelling in the ring. There is not a person. I mean, Okada is going to go down as one of the best pro wrestlers ever, just without a shadow of a doubt. Not New Japan, any wrestler ever. He's just, his ability to grab you into a match, his ability to raise anyone he has in the ring with him to just that godlike level. I mean, Ibushi didn't need much helping, but you know what I mean. Anyone that is in the ring with him is just raised to that godlike status. And Jesus Christ, when, Okada's hit Ibushi with two of the Rainmakers, he goes for the third, Ibushi drops, hits him with the knee, and you're like, oh my God, Ibushi. And then finally, that sit-out driver that you were talking about, then a Rainmaker, and Okada wins. But Jesus Christ, it's one of those matches where sometimes New Japan fall foul of just doing these main events where they go 29, 30 minutes and they don't need to. I could have watched another 10 minutes of this match.
It felt like a 20-minute match.
The drama, the action, just everything that was in this match. It's everything that I love about pro wrestling. And I hate the fact that Wrestle Kingdom, in a way, is so early on in the year because people, forget about these matches as they go towards December and their end-of-year awards. Fucking hell. What a match. What a match. I can't get my words out. And it's not even the best match of the two nights.
Actually, I'd listened to Meltzer talk about the two nights, and he thinks night one is far superior to night two, which I completely disagree with.
No.
But, yeah, he thinks Okada and Ibushi is the match of the weekend. Which I don't blame him.
Don't get me wrong. This was an outstanding match, and 10 stars without a shadow of a doubt, and is one of the greatest professional wrestling matches I have ever had the honour of watching, let's be perfectly honest. But night two had one thing this did not have, and that's what we'll go into in a moment.
And that's Tai Chi in a gauntlet match.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I love Ibushi. I absolutely adore Ibushi. And Okada, Jesus Christ. Absolutely Jesus Christ. We've both given it 10. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Really, really good end to the night. So night two, the 5th of January 2020. We opened on the pre-show with the never openweight 6-man tag team championships gauntlet match with the team of Los Ingobernables de Japón, Evil Bushi and Shingo Takagi, defeating the champions Risuke Taguchi, Togi Makabe and Toru Yano, as well as the teams of Suzuki-gun and Chaos and Bullet Club. At 6 minutes and 8 seconds, the final bit with a Made in Japan. This was about as 5 stars as you are going to get, Chris.
I didn't watch it because can I quickly tell the story about how New Japan fucked up the fucking upload?
Well, not only did they fuck up the upload, Chris, during or just after the main card started, so just after the opening match, the Jushin Thunder Liger match, Liger had just been pinned by Hiromu, and the feed paused, and it was all over Twitter, so people come out and tried to refresh the feed, and it wasn't letting them back in. So at this point, the entire of Twitter is...
This happens every fucking year.
Every year, New Japan, it's never done this, to be fair. It's been stuttery, it's been slow. It has never kicked people out during...
Oh, they kicked me out on day one.
I mean, previous years.
Yeah.
It's never kicked people out during the show. It's been struggling getting in.
It's a fresh problem every time. New Japan keep doing the equivalent of when you're making a Hot Wheels set and you try to put two pieces together and you just create the same problem further down the track.
Nice. I like that. Well done.
What
was your issue?
Oh, fucking! So
It literally was going. I tried it on my laptop, on my iPad, on my brother's laptop, on my streaming through the Apple TV, whatever. Everything I tried, it was going at like 15 frames a second. Like it was like a bad GIF of Wrestle Kingdom. So like literally, I had to track down a pirated copy so like it meant to watch. First time I watched Naito versus Okada, I had ads every 5 minutes.
How? That must have ruined the experience.
Actually, believe it or not, it kept happening the ads kept happening at really tense moments. So I was like, oh fucking come on. I do not give a fuck about your penis enlargement pills.
Yes, you do. Don't lie.
I don't need them.
Yes, you do. Don't
your
lie.
Your mum's never complained.
Wait.
It's not the first your mum joke in the history of this podcast.
It really isn't. I don't even think it's the first one of this episode.
When do we make a your? I don't remember making a your mum joke. I normally keep a mental track just so I don't make too many.
Because there's a limit on your mama jokes. Clearly.
Yeah, no, but I have a certain budget, and if I don't use them, we don't roll over.
No. To be perfectly honest, Chris, there was absolutely nothing you missed here whatsoever. Even the win itself wasn't that impressive. I simply feel it was, well, for what I thought was going to be an LIJ roll call at the end of the night, where everyone held up gold. It's nice to see that Evil, Bushi, and Shingo are champions, and they are potentially going to bring some credibility to the belts. And then all three of them came out without the fucking belts at New Year Dash. So, I could be fucking wrong.
I think this title can ever have any sort of prestige. How many champions has it had in like its 3 years being active?
19, I think.
20.
Yeah, Evil, Bushi, and Shingo are the 20th.
Yeah, and I think Taguchi, Makabe, and Yano might be the longest reign.
It was Bushi, Evil, and Sonada before that.
Yeah, but I think they at least defended it.
I believe that apparently the team of Taguchi, Makabe, and Yano defended it 4 times in their reign, which is coming up to about 270 days.
I'm having a quick look through the history, and there's some really random teams. Like, stupidly... Like, the first winners were the Briscoes and Toru Yano.
Yeah, I knew that, obviously, Wrestle Kingdom 10.
And then there's Tanahashi, Elgin, and Yoshitatsu. Seidel, Ricochet, and Kojima, which then got vacated because Seidel got caught with the drugs.
All the drugs.
And then Seidel got replaced by fucking Finlay.
Oh, yeah, so he didn't actually win the championship. He just held it for a bit.
Yeah, it's all a bit... To be fair, like, the height of this title was when it was part of the Bullet Club Civil War.
Yeah, no, I get that. And it was sort of held ransom where it wasn't defended at all, and it's sort of become a bit of a comedy belt now.
Yeah, which to be fair, which was good it was on Yano in that case.
I agree with that. I agree. I just don't want to have a belt if there's no fucking point to it.
No, that's the thing. New Japan just needs to stop because, like, the point. I think the initial point was like, oh, we can have a reason for all these 6-man tags, but then you never defend them. So who the fuck actually cares?
Exactly. They don't even need a build to it. Just it's faction warfare. Just I'm not fancy booking the never openweight 6-man tag team championships because what's the fucking point?
Yeah, no, it's like fucking. I don't know. Imagining a night in bed with Betty White or something. Just why would you?
Betty White, mate. Why Betty White?
Because I was trying to think of something you don't want to think about.
And that was Betty White, was it? That was your go-to?
I mean, do you want to think about having sex with Betty White?
I never once thought about having sex with Betty White until you mentioned Betty White.
No, exactly, because you don't want to.
No, because it's just not a thing normal people think about, Chris.
I don't think about it.
You literally have just said that.
No, but like I'm saying, why would you? It's like why of all the things to fantasy book, why this? Like, if you're going to fantasy book yourself into bed with someone, why not Tai Chi?
The first match of the main card then was Jushin Thunder Liger's second and final retirement match, the tag team match, with Hiromu Takahashi and Ryu Lee defeating the team of Jushin Thunder Liger and Naoki Sano at 12 minutes and 16 seconds with the time bomb. Now, aside from this being another excellent match, we knew it would be really good. We knew that, Liger would give everything. We knew Hiromu would go balls out. We knew Ryu Lee had wanted this match, so he was going to go all out. And obviously we've got Sano as well, who proved the previous night that he could still go. I mean, for God's sake, in this one, he did a springboard drop kick to 2 men. So, and at his age, that's amazing. This was so emotional. This could have been an absolute car crash, and nobody would have given a shit. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not even going to spend a lot of time talking about the match, because it was a good match. There was moments where Liger was properly on top, really going for Hiromu, basically telling him to man the fuck up and hit him.
Oh, both Shotes.
The Shota, he wrestled like it was his last match. That's the way to describe it.
Very quickly, I'm still not used to Ryu Lee's new name.
No, I'm not.
It's very hard to not call him Dragon Lee.
It was also very, very, very weird seeing him come out in a Los Ingonobles t-shirt.
Yeah, to be fair, what's even weirder is in Ring of Honor, they call him Dragon Lee.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, because his Twitter handle's still Dragon Lee as well, which is very strange.
Yeah, it's all a bit... I don't know, his name's in a bit of a weird flux right now, isn't it? It's like Pentagon.
Yeah, I'm wondering, though, if it's because of the connection between CMLL and New Japan, whereas Ring of Honor don't really have that connection, maybe. I don't know.
That's something I need to double check to make sure I'm right, but I don't think Lee is on any of the Fantastica Mania shows.
No. I thought, and one last thing about this match, I actively encourage you to go and check it out. It's the end of an era, and, thank you, Jushin Liger. That's all we can say, really. But what I will say is that I thought it was a nice parallel that he decided to retire after not being able to best someone in their prime. That person obviously being Taiji Shimori at the anniversary show. He came out, made the announcement that he was going to retire, and in this match, he couldn't hang with another person, another young person in their prime, in Hiromu, who of course pinned him after the time bomb. And that moment, there wasn't anything ridiculously special here. Liger stood in the ring, he bowed to all 4 corners, he had a standing ovation from the Tokyo Dome, as he should do, and I have no doubt that there was tears shed, and rightly fucking so. And he left the ring, and I still can't quite think about it, to be perfectly honest. I can't quite get my head around the fact that one of the most colourful characters in wrestling has retired.
What's your favourite iteration of Liger? Like, do you like classic Liger, battle Liger? What's your Liger mood? Because I think Garth loves Keishan Liger.
Garth has got a bit of a crazy thing for Keishan Liger. It's weird.
It came out of nowhere as well, because we were just discussing doing like a Liger special classic, and he was like, "Can I join?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Can we have Muta versus Keishan Liger? It's really important because it's the debut of Keishan Liger." I'm like, "This is a fandom I did not see happening from Garth."
No, not at all. I mean, I watched quite recently the match between Liger and Kanemoto at Wrestle World 2000. Where Liger absolutely fucking blitzes through him in about 3 minutes. And he's just fucking stiff as fuck. It really is. For a 3-minute bout. Fucking hell. And that black badass Liger was just absolutely amazing. And that was brilliant. His entire heel run was really cool. But honestly,
Battle Liger is really cool.
Yeah, Battle Liger is amazing. But for me, just Jushin Thunder Liger. His face run, his... As a dad, as one of the dads, he was still one of the best in ring. And that just says everything.
He probably had the best match of Ishimori's reign.
I don't think that's difficult, to be fair, though.
Yeah, they did Ishimori dirty. It's funny though, because of course, like Keishan Liger back in the day had like the long hair, but like it's the first time I realized, like Liger's bald now. Yeah,
I realized that as well. I realized that when he took the mask off against Suzuki.
Yeah, when he was doing the when he first did the Keishan Liger thing, and I was like, oh shit, Fucking okay, he doesn't have the hair anymore because of course, like back in the day, Jushin Liger did have the hair. To be fair, I like Battle Liger just because it's what you use against like heavyweights, like Hashimoto and Suzuki, and that's some of my favorite Liger moments. So anyway, we should probably move on because we've discussed about and we're probably going to do that when we cover the fucking ceremony.
That is true. That is true. 7 stars.
Yeah, I'd go 7.
We move on then to the second match on the main card, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships match, with Roppongi 3K, the winner of the Super Junior Tag League, defeating the champions, the Bullet Club team of El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori at 14 minutes and 8 seconds with a strong X. This was a really, really good match. I thought that Show, once again, looked like an absolute fucking badass, hitting the double German on both people. I really liked Taiji Ishimori's new mask. We had a lung blower, which, again, looked amazing. El Phantasmo is probably the best I've seen him since the best of the Super Juniors. Genuinely, a really, really good match. My problem is, and this is a problem that you probably know I'm going to say, and it's something that constantly irks me with El Phantasmo in particular. The fucking go-to moves, no matter what.
Yeah, he's definitely just sort of default, doesn't he? But although there was some, I just want to quickly mention before we shit on Phantasmo, the creative ways in which both Phantasmo and Ishimori started doing back rakes was hilarious.
The moonsault back rake was amazing.
Yeah, and then Ishimori did a springboard back rake. It's like, you lads, you know how to be a heel.
But then they go into the corner and they do the ball stand on. And
yeah, that should be a disqualification, shouldn't it?
It really should. I mean, I know it played into the ending with El Phantasmo going for the low blow and they're both wearing cups and, Rocky's grabbing the belt and it seems a bit fucking all over the place.
Yo put his cup in his mouth.
I knew that there was something weird I wanted to discuss at the end. That was it. That was it. He's just wrestled in that.
It's gonna fucking taste like skilled fish.
Yeah, it would be horrendous. And then there's a really funny moment where the referee is attempting to give Show his back. And he's like, I don't want to touch this. I don't want to touch this.
I know where this has been, and I know where that's been. I saw someone say on Twitter that Yo is clearly the standout of Roppongi 3K. Fuck off.
I don't agree with that.
Is he?
No,
he's the most generic junior. If I was to draw a generic junior, it would be shit because I can't draw. But if I could draw, it would look like Yo.
No, I think that's unfair. Yo had an understated best of the Super Juniors, and I think the problem was he was in a block with Will Ospreay, El Phantasmo, and ultimately, Rocky Romero as well, who had...
It's sort of a tea-time problem when there's more interesting things going on.
Despite the fact he still had a good best of the Super Juniors, and unfortunately, he didn't have the story that Show had going in. I don't think that Yo is generic. I think he's going to be an extremely good junior. The problem that I have with Roppongi 3K in general is that no one really cares about them.
No, they're on paper a really successful tag team already, but yeah, they've wrestled everyone.
And we're going to look at the angle in a moment on at Dash, and we see who their next challenges are, and we're like, well, we've fucking seen this. We
literally just saw this.
We've just seen it. I mean, even Gedo clearly does not give a shit about the... I mean, we talk about how he doesn't give a shit about the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Division. He definitely does not give a shit about the Junior Division.
It's kind of sad because it seemed to be in a good place going into it. It's the one thing coming out of Wrestle Kingdom worse.
It will be interesting to see how long they hold off with the Show and Yo breakup angle, and I wonder if it will happen when they lose the titles.
Maybe because they've been putting Rocky and Eagles together more, so I guess there's a replacement junior team there.
Yeah.
So, if Ospreay decides to move up, because I'm honestly with some of this happening, I'm not quite sure about Kansas and being heavyweight yet or not, but yeah. To be fair, this match was honestly, this match is fun, and we should probably talk more about the future when it comes to Dash, because I'm sort of eager to talk about the next match.
Okay, I mean, I gave it 7.
I gave it 7 too. It's about as good as the tag match from the day before.
Okay, so we move on to match 3 of the main card, and this is the British Heavyweight Championship match with Zack Sabre Jr., the champion, defeating Sonata and retaining at 12 minutes and 32 seconds with the European clutch. Chris, go for it.
This match was basically my kink. Like, holy like, it was one of those matches where the two men, like, very rarely weren't touching each other. Get giggity. But, they just kept like seamlessly going from like hold to hold to hold to hold. I mean, like the only time it ever did that was when Zack Sabre Jr. was going outside to get heat. And oh my god, I just love the SJ. I really wish he could be in something more than the fucking British heavyweight division. Because like, fuck Rev Pro, but just he's so good. And like Sonata, like he kind of played his part, but like problem is, see, Sonata's the best opponent is probably ZSJ if you don't count Okada, because that's not fair. Like, they put on consistently amazing matches, but also, like, they're not distinct, but at the same time, they're far enough apart from each other where it's sort of like, yeah, let's go. For example, like, they do always do it, but, like, it gets me every time where he goes for the snapmare, but Sonata sort of jumps out of it. Just so, like, just kept subverting each other's spots, and I absolutely loved it. Like, Gar said it best, it's like Malenko versus Guerrero match.
I really enjoyed the opening exchange. The opening exchange, it's a wrestling match that we seem to have seen many, many, many times, but it was done at such a pace and with such intensity, and it just kept going. It really, really flowed, and ZSJ and Sonata have absolutely phenomenal chemistry. Their match in the G1 was exceptional, and every match they have is really, really good. Zack was in really, really good form. I agree with you. I think Zack was certainly the main star of this match. Sonata played second fiddle somewhat. Is that going to play into storyline later on down the line? Potentially. After all, he is currently the only member of LIJ without any gold whatsoever, despite having the run he had last year. So that becomes a little bit of a storyline. But yeah, really, really, really good match. Zack Sabre Jr. comes out of it looking brilliant, looks, like a champ. I agree with you. I would love to see him with some manner of New Japan gold. However, they seem to have a niche for Zack Sabre Jr., and that niche for Zack Sabre Jr., I feel, at the moment is the British Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, great match, bro. Like, honestly, like, I can't say much about it, but, like, I was so into it while it was happening.
I agree with you.
Which, to be fair, it's the same with basically every Sonata match.
Is it better than their G1 match?
Yes. Just because I wasn't distracted by a half-empty arena.
Okay. I gave it the same. I think I gave it an 8. I can't remember if I gave it an 8 or a 9. I gave it a 9. I gave it an 8.
Well, I conceded number 4 earlier, so can you just give it a 9 for
Are
me?
you really using the fact that I gave a meaningless 8-man tag on night 1 4 stars so that you can get... Yeah, fair enough, 9 stars. We move on then to the next match, and this was the second IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match with Jon Moxley, the champion from night 1, defeating Juice Robinson at 12 minutes and 48 seconds with a fucking badass-looking Death Rider. It was a match that wasn't probably as good as the Archer and Jon Moxley one, and I feel like it lacked a little bit of heat, maybe. It's a weird one. It was
nowhere near as good as the previous 2 matches.
I agree with you.
Nowhere near as good.
I agree with you. And whether that is Juice having wrestled 2 matches and Moxley having wrestled 2 matches, and I don't know whether Juice was injured or... I don't know. There seemed to be a lack of intensity. And I think for a match that involves Jon Moxley, who's...
running through the motions.
Yeah. Jon Moxley's entire gimmick is his intensity. And I don't know, it felt flat.
Like, the only like good part is like the cannonball onto the chair.
Yeah, there was a good point where Juice punches the chair as well, into the face of Jon Moxley. That's quite a cool spot. But it was short. That's what we can say about it. And it wasn't a bad match whatsoever. It was sort of lost in the mire of this night. It certainly wasn't Juice's best singles match, and it's certainly not Jon Moxley's best match. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot to say about it aside from, the really, really cool Death Rider at the end. And it's not even the main talking point of this entire angle, which we'll get into in a second. I mean, the match itself, Chris, I gave 6.
Yeah, I gave 7, but to be fair, I was half asleep for it, so like I might have just tricked myself.
Yeah, to
So,
me,
like,
it was...
I'm happy to go along with 6.
Yeah, it
Like,
just seemed a bit flat.
Like, especially when you consider like both matches were so different, but like the Moxley Juice match, the second one actually really surprised me.
Yeah, no, I said it before. I don't think Juice Robinson was the man to have this challenge on night 2. He has not done anything to deserve that second championship shot. He lost to Lance Archer, back of the queue. He has not pinned Lance Archer. Therefore, to me, unless he pinned him in Tag League, didn't he pin him in Tag League? I can't remember if he pinned him in Tag League. He might have pinned him in Tag League. But even if he pinned...
How many times did he do Tag League in fucking 10 seconds?
But even if he pinned Lance Archer, he didn't pin Moxley. So, yeah, I don't know. To me, it didn't feel... It didn't have the heat at all.
Like it was filler.
That's exactly what it was.
There was both the DSJ Sonata match and the Goto Kenta match could have used more time.
I felt that for the Goto Kenta match. I thought the British Heavyweight Championship match was roughly in line with what I expected. However,
maybe if there was more time, Jericho could have had his actual fucking music.
Maybe.
I'm not letting that go.
Oh no, don't. And once we get to that, I absolutely implore you to have your rant about it, because your rant was perfect. However, after this, fucking hell, who comes out, Chris?
Matt, I did. I wanted to do the song, but I forgot how. Can't believe. Like, to be fair, it now makes perfect sense why we didn't have his theme on the first night.
Yes, and what a pop!
Yeah, because I think people legitimately thought he was gone.
I was convinced.
Yeah, I was absolutely convinced as well. And I was like, holy shit, Suzuki. And I just loved how when he was like taking off his tracksuit, Chris Shelton, who's like, of course, the biggest traditionalist on the commentary booth, was going, no, this is not how we do things here.
It was, I mean, I'd completely forgotten that in the World Tag League final, Jon Moxley had given Suzuki a Death Rider as well as Lance Archer. I'd completely forgotten. And then, just as I realised that Moxley's music wasn't playing, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then Kazunina Ray started. The crowd went fucking ballistic. Suzuki walks down in his tracksuit, starts stripping off. He's in his gear. And I was like, no. And then they just beat the shit into each other.
Chris Charlton was on fire on night 2, and we'll get more into that later on. But just shouting, no, Suzuki, this is not how we do things here.
It was a really good moment to end a very mediocre match.
Yeah, no, it's sort of like when Samoa Joe turned up after Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, absolutely. We move on then to the Never Openweight Championship
Wasn't the
match.
announcement after this? Like the schedule announcement after this?
Oh, yeah. The extremely anticlimactic. This was something, and I text Chris about this. This is something that I look forward to every year. And in Wrestle Kingdom, you get the announcement of everything that is happening over the New Japan year. And basically, we had half the year, we had the announcement of the New Beginning shows, which obviously we'd already had announced. We had the announcement of the New Japan Cup, Wrestling Hinokuni, the Best of the Super Juniors final, which has moved to not Sumo Hall. Where's it moved to, Chris?
Fuck! I really should have written this down. I'll double check because I'm on the New Japan website right now.
Okay, so the Best of the Super Juniors final has moved, and the biggest thing to come out of this, as well as announcing that Wrestling Dontaku will be at the start of May as usual in Fukuoka, is that the G1 Climax, ordinarily a summer tournament, has been moved to October, the first October G1, and of course that is because of the Olympics taking place in Tokyo. So it'll be interesting to see if New Japan do more foreign dates during the summer because of obviously the influx of people watching the Olympics, or whether they chance their arm and see if more people will be interested in the wrestling because more people are in Japan for the Olympics. It'll be interesting. But my problem was we got no announcements of any American dates. We got no announcements of a possible European date or, lo and behold, a UK date. We got nothing announced. We got no announcement as to whether this Wrestle Kingdom 15 will be a 2-night event or a 1-night event. It was quite anticlimactic.
What struck me is G1's now in Seymour Hall.
Yes, we've moved from Budokan Hall to Sumo Hall.
And they sold well in Budokan.
Maybe, is it because Budokan is booked, maybe? With it being later on?
Who else is running Budokan?
When is BJW's big show? Oh, that's November. Oh, 4th of November?
They can't run Budokan, though.
Well, they do. I'm sure they do. I'm sure that's their big show on the 4th.
Budokan's like 15... Like, it's a proper, arena.
Just check. I'm sure they have. Oh, no. Sorry, that might be Sumo Hall, actually. That might be Sumo Hall on the 4th of November.
That's where, That's where, Noah and Big Japan host.
Yeah, I know that Noah do.
Because they sold slightly less in Budokan, but that's because they expanded their production values. So it's a really weird one. But don't get me wrong, as a New Japan venue, I prefer Seymour Hall. Just because it screams New Japan more than I just see Budokan and think, oh, All Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like All Japan can barely sell out Korakuen.
No, I understand that. It's a weird one. It certainly is a weird one. I'm sure we'll find out eventually, but
it's like when someone who wasn't WWE ran MSG.
You mean like New Japan and Ring of Honor did?
Yeah, no, you have to admit that was a tiny bit weird.
It was a little bit weird, yeah.
It was great, but to be fair, the show was weird to begin with. But anyway, this next match.
Yes.
First of all, we forgot to mention it earlier. Goto's theme, what a bop.
Yeah, it's up there, isn't it? And yeah,
it's the choir.
I think it's one of my most enduring memories of watching Wrestle Kingdoms live. Watching Wrestle Kingdom 12 and him come out to that theme and then have that fucking absolutely banger with Suzuki. It's just it's my best memory from that Wrestle Kingdom, and I don't know. I've always had that little bit of a soft spot for Goto's theme song, but yeah, it really is a fucking bop. And now that he's changed his T-shirt, thank fucking Christ.
It's been changed since just before Tag League, to be fair.
Which is weird because that's when we started abusing it. Goto listens to the Young Lion cast confirmed.
Yeah. Also, Kenta's theme is underrated. I love the war drums.
Sorry, you asked that just so I was eating another cracker.
Fuck's it. But Kenta's theme is really underrated. The war drums are great.
No, I agree. I think Kenta's new one is very, very, very good.
Also, he has the best Bullet Club design right now.
The Fang
it's just
one?
Yeah. Because, Fang's always been his thing. So, I don't know, it fit more naturally than, Jay White's one or Marty's one. A lot of the different Bullet Club designs sort of just don't fit naturally into the logo, whereas this kind of does.
I don't know, quite like the Jay White one.
Yeah, to be fair, I really like the Marty one just because of the plague mask on the skull. I thought that was quite cool. Oh, Bullet Club just has a tiny... To be fair, the closest thing I have to Bullet Club shirt merch is a Pachiti Club t-shirt. because we were selling them for cheap at a What Culture show I went to, and I was like, no. I don't turn down cheap t-shirts, Rob. I mean, I got a Hulk Hogan t-shirt because it was £2.
You're an embarrassment.
Oh, it is an absolute embarrassment because it's half naked Hulk Hogan. No, because there's one where it's just half naked Hulk Hogan, and the other one's like the Union Jack Hulkamania logo, which like is like racism on racism at that point.
You disgust me.
Hang on. I disgust me too, Rob.
This match, though, Chris. This match.
This is what the Never title has to be, and I said it after Dash. The Never title has its identity back finally. Because like I'm not being funny, it just sort of became a mean to an end at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. So like since sort of Taichi winning it off of Cobb, that's when it started getting to rebuild his hit each other as hard as he possibly fucking can title.
Not taking into account what happens after the main event, is Kenta the best heel?
He's just such a dick.
He absolutely laps in this match. Just treating Goto as though he was an absolute joke throughout this match was brilliant. And then just that complete, just treating him like he's a prick this entire match, and then that eventually snaps Goto. It's just brilliant. It really is. Just serenading the fans as they boo him, slapping Goto. Just like an almost like, get the fuck out of my way.
When we were chanting Go Home Kenta, he was just like, go on, come on, bring it on. He like just revels so much in being hated. Because like, to be honest, after like his run in WWE, I think he's just happy to be getting heat again.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what else was nice in this match?
They didn't attack Shibata.
They didn't attack Shibata. No Shibata on this show at all, which I think was a strange one. Not even in Goto's corner.
To be honest, I think they didn't want Goto to be overshadowed.
That would be reasonable, yeah.
And not being funny, like the bit having Kenta come out with Shibata initially hurt the fact that Kenta was there, because they're like, yeah, kill Kenta, but I thought Shibata was alive.
Goto.
But no, like
Go on.
This match just had. It's probably the second most heated match of this night.
Goto was phenomenal in this match.
Yeah, like this is Wrestle Kingdom 12 Goto, and he just didn't let up, and it was great. And like, he needs to keep it like this because like he keeps having like parts of the year where he's just not on, and he needs to start like being on. Like, because when Goto's on, no one can touch him. Well, that's a lie. Lots of people can touch him, but like, he's just the perfect never open weight champion, which like in 2018 he just wasn't. I don't know what the fuck happened, but he just wasn't.
The difference here in this match to, say, a Wrestle Kingdom 12 against Suzuki is that at no point did I feel like Goto was the person in distress. Constantly, he was going after Kenta. The ref had to hold Goto back. And basically, Goto was powering through, attempting to beat the ever-loving shit out of Kenta. And finally, if nothing put an emphasis on that final GTR... Oh my god. That looked awful. It looked like such a horrible thing to take from Kenta. And then...
It almost made you forget that Kenta's a cunt.
I ask you, is there anything better in wrestling than a no-sold slap?
Taichi.
Apart from Taichi.
Candy Floss.
I hate you so much.
Hey, well, she's in the fucking dark matches in Blackpool.
I hate you so much. This match went 16 minutes, and I think it could have maybe had a little bit more, but I think organically...
If it went 20, it could honestly have been a 10 for me.
I don't think it was quite there, and I think when you look at the rest of the match, I'm like, I just don't feel it was quite there. It was heated, it was great, it was brutal, and I think it ended when it needed to end, with Kenta slapping Goto, and Goto just no-selling it, and just staring with that hate, and that anger, and that emotion we don't see enough from Goto, just etched into every line before he delivers that fucking GTR that I thought had actually killed Kenta. Brilliant. Originally, I gave this 8, and then I've watched it again, and it's a 9. Yeah, it's a 9 for me.
No, it was initially a 9 for me, so like...
Yeah.
What a match.
Yeah, a really, really good match, and one of Goto's better performances, and Kenta, love him or hate him, he's done such a good job there.
Since debuting?
I I would say his match against Okada at the G1 was excellent. I'd say it's definitely his best one since then.
But it had less heat.
Oh yeah, it was a G1 match, obviously, but it's his best match since then. That was the last time he was this level. Is what I mean.
Maybe his Ishii match, but his second one, not the. We don't talk about that. Anyway, moving on.
We move on then. Our third to the top was our losers place match, which we weren't officially allowed to call it. Apparently, it's a number one contendership match, which we found out at the end it really wasn't. Yeah, it was billed as a special singles match, but I liked the fact that the commentary team made a very, very big point of saying this is not just a loser's match. It's, whoever wins this match is going to be placed in that heavyweight title picture. And unfortunately...
essentially creating a tier list.
Exactly. Unfortunately, in that case...
someone decided to jump a queue.
Yeah. We had Switchblade Jay White defeating Kota Ibushi at 24 minutes and 58 seconds with a Blade Runner. Now, I say unfortunately, Chris, because this means that we had the possibility, because obviously Tetsuya Naito was in the main event, we had the sort of, if this was to be the case and whoever win this match would go on to, let's say, New Beginning to main event that show against the champion. If Tetsuya Naito were to win, that would mean that we would have Switchblade Jay White versus Tetsuya Naito again.
It would be great, but also they've ran that match 3 times in the last few months, so I understand why they wouldn't want to completely just go back to it. To be honest, I completely expected them to go like Ibushi and Naito since that's a proven draw.
That is what I expected, but also I thought that Ibushi was the man to take 2 falls this time.
Yeah, and to be fair, it played into the story really great. Like, he now has like literally a fallen star thing going on, which I love. People were like, "Oh, my favorite's lost," and I'm like, "That's such a stupid way." Because like, I'm not being funny. Two losses with a clear story direction. Like, people thought Ibushi was being buried. He's not. He has a clear story direction. Like, and he's probably going to end up being a highlight of this year because of it. And just, yeah, and Jay White continued to be a right cunt, and I loved it. Like, the throwing of Ibushi into the rails, that's the most brutal I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I agree. Just, I didn't enjoy this match as much as I enjoyed the Naito match, which is weird because I know a lot of people preferred this match. I love the fact that White was pushing that button, trying to get Ibushi to that level that he was at against Okada, and basically it took White to cheat, ultimately, to get the victory over Ibushi. It took him getting Gedo involved. It took a low blow before he could hit the Blade Runner. I did enjoy, whilst he was hitting the Blade Runner, by the way, that he sort of stumbled and couldn't quite get it properly because it sold just how close to defeat Jay was. But he's an opportunist. He's the ultimate opportunist in New Japan, if you will, except for one man in the main event who we'll talk about. But Jay White was great here.
That's not really like exploiting an opportunity. That's just... That's not like you went through a hole. You have just ripped a hole open and kicked your way through it. No, this was great. This is not quite as good as their G1 finals.
I agree. The problem was the lack of heat here, the perceived lack of heat, because ultimately it was a consolation prize.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's like who's third best in the company, basically.
Exactly. And I think that even though the commentary team, and I must admit right now, Kevin Kelly, Gino Gambino, Chris Charlton, and even Rocky when he went on, they did an absolutely outstanding job on both nights.
No, that's the thing. They've all actually managed to gel finally. Like, before it felt like 3 or 4 people having a separate conversation, but now we've actually gelled, which is nice to see. Just shows that repetition gets you better, unless your name is Michael Cole, who has somehow managed to get worse over the years. You didn't like the Gedo interference, did you?
It wasn't that I didn't like the Gedo interference. I understand the need for Gedo interference. He's part of Bullet Club. He's a cheap, lousy heel. I understand that. In the Naito match, I felt that the Gedo interference was done to the correct level. It wasn't overpowering. It didn't take away too much from the match. However, it was so prevalent here. It was just... it stopped being, heat and just was, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. And I actually caught myself looking at my watch at this point, and I shouldn't be doing that in a JY versus Ibushi match. One thing that did redeem it was Psycho Ibushi and the fact that he clearly wasn't happy with the way he left things with Okada and decided he was going to go one step further with Jay White and physically eviscerate the man.
It was actually quite uncomfortable.
It was unbelievable. It was ridiculous the levels he was going to try and kill this poor man.
I really hope Ibushi doesn't keep doing the Psycho Ibushi all the time. I hope it's a once or twice a year thing. Because honestly, when he does it, it's so effective. But people, because this is the first time it's properly happened on a Wrestle Kingdom that everyone's watched. It's the first time people have started noticing it, but he's done it before, and it's just amazing when he does it. The way he managed to get all emotion to leave his face.
I agree with you. It needs to be that thing that comes out just every now and then to add another layer to a match. Now here, it's part of clearly a wider storyline. Again, this is why I fucking love this company. They don't do anything for no reason. It's done to be part of a wider storyline. And I've got a feeling that we are going to soon see that psycho Kota Ibushi as a character, that heel...
Kishin Ibushi.
The devil Kishin Ibushi. I've just got a feeling going to have this dark, basically, either the fallen star Kota Ibushi or the dark star Kota Ibushi, or whatever you want to call him. We're going to have that very fucking terrifying Ibushi very soon.
Kota Ibushi. Yeah, that would be amazing. Not to take anything away from Jay White, though. He's probably the best heel. Well, he was, and then Kenta decided just to force his way into that role.
Exactly. I gave this 8.
But I was 10. But now I'm sort of I'm saying this high on it because I love White and Ibushi, because they're my two favorites. So honestly, I'd give it a 9 though. We're definitely going to disagree on the next match, so I'll concede on the next match if you concede on this one.
Fine, we'll give it a 9. It is Ibushi, and we can't hate on Ibushi. This next match, however, that Chris is referring to, is a singles match, the special singles match, which was sort of billed at some point when they realised it hadn't got much heat as a potential opening of the door to the AEW Championship match.
Gateway.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It just shows me how much I hate AEW fans because they don't understand the New Japan product, which it's fine, but stop pretending you do.
I'm really, really, really glad that the result was as it was, which of course was Chris Jericho defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi at 22 minutes and 24 seconds with the Walls of Jericho. Go on,
Can
Chris.
I just quickly say this? An AEW and New Japan partnership is a bad idea. And here's for why. The reason New Japan are with Ring of Honor is because they can send their young lions, and the young lions will be not booked to shit. And Ring of Honor is a good production house. They help with all the New Japan American shows. AEW wouldn't do that. AEW don't have in as a partner because they're not being funny. AEW has good production values. They don't have good production, if that makes sense. They keep missing shit, and it's because they're a new company. It's because they're learning, and I get that. But that's not what New Japan needs. Honestly, if you stop saying it would be the best, and just admit that you just want Kenny in New Japan again. Because I'm not being funny, I want Kenny in New Japan again, but I don't want it to happen through an AEW partnership. Also, now with hindsight, the way Cody wrestled in New Japan is unforgivable, considering how he's been recently. Also. If you're an AEW fan, you shouldn't want this because New Japan have a massive history of burying who they're in a partnership with. Because they're not being funny. When WCW stars came over, they jobbed out to New Japan stars. Happened with TNA stars. Happened with Ring of Honor. The reason Ring of Honor and CMLL see them on a level below New Japan is because New Japan never let them. If you notice, all the matches where luchadors get big wins against other luchadors in Fantastica Mania.
Yeah.
Or when all the Ring of Honor guys have got a big win at G1 Supercard, were Ring of Honor guys, New Japan sort of seen as their own guys, like Jeff Cobb. So like, I noticed that New Japan had no issue with Guerrillas of Destiny throwing the ROH tag belts and shouting "fuck Ring of Honor." So like, but if you're an AEW fan, you shouldn't want this, and if you're a New Japan fan, you don't want this.
I think they made it very, very clear that this isn't happening. The Bucks have come out on Twitter and said it's, the door isn't opening. Jericho's come out in an interview and said, we should, everyone should just bury their ego, and I'm fully with you. I don't think New Japan gets anything from this alliance.
Honestly, I don't think AEW get anything. Like, honestly, it gets fucking dream matches or whatever, but like it won't be dream matches of any decent build because they're not going to lend. It's not like Ring of Honor where we do it in bulk, so we can lend like Okada and Kushida or whatever to a Ring of Honor taping, and they're there for like they're there every 2 weeks for 2 months of television. But that's not going to happen with AEW because we do it. Like, honestly, like on every like conceivable level, it's not a good idea. Like, and nothing good's going to come out of it apart from maybe a couple of dream matches, which is going to be great, but they won't be well built up. Also, where the fuck was Jericho's theme? What the fuck is going on?
I love the fact that Chris Jericho, a rock star persona who is a legitimate singer in a legitimate band who sings his own theme music.
Well, let's not besmirch the word legitimate, okay?
Okay, I say legitimate in the fact that they have a record deal.
I mean, fucking...
Go on, what are you going to say? What are you going to say that's sarcastic?
Hansen had a record deal.
Fozzy and Hansen is the parallel that you've just drawn.
Yeah, I know, it's besmirching the name of Hansen, quite frankly. But,
the hardcore name of Hansen.
Seriously, Hansen actually turned into a decent little indie band.
So Chris Jericho doesn't have the rights. Well, no. New Japan have got a wrestler who is coming out to his own theme music, to his own music that he sings, and they still haven't got the fucking rights to it. It was so Bush League.
To be completely fair, Jericho probably doesn't own the publishing rights, and that's why he can't do it.
No, I know. It's just funny.
Pull some fucking strings, like.
It's your fucking song.
I'm not being funny. The song we have, and they keep losing the rights for a small amount of time. Like during the G1, where Ospreay just suddenly couldn't use his song.
It's just criminal. It really is.
Oh, have you heard? Do you even know what Maccabey's regular theme is?
Yeah, it used to be the theme song of a podcast I used to listen to.
That's fine, because first time I saw New Japan, Maccabey came out to the Wrestling 9. Like, we didn't dub over the Immigrant song. We actually got the rights. Because it's a cover, so it's easier to get the rights for.
Clearly not, he hasn't. In fact, it's such a banger now, Maccabey's dubbed over music. It's an absolute banger.
To be fair, I'm not complaining much, because it is fucking great. But also, Immigrant song is better, I'm sorry. Also, like, remember at G1 Supercard when they suddenly didn't have half the Rumbles?
Any of the Rumbles. They didn't have Suzuki's, for fuck's sake.
I'm thinking you could hear the crowd singing along.
So bizarre.
They had Ligers, in fairness. We did have Ligers.
You didn't like this match, Chris?
I didn't hate this match. I just didn't think it was amazing. Like, honestly, like it was your standard Jericho New Japan match.
I preferred it. Okay, well, let's go through it. This
First of all,
and
Jericho's
the Omega
body.
match. Well, let's talk about that in a minute. This or the Omega match at Wrestle Kingdom 12.
The Omega match.
This or the Naito match at Dominion.
I'd probably say equal pegging. I'd go for Naito 1 just for the shock of it.
This versus Evil at Power Struggle.
It's probably better than Evil.
This against Naito 2 at Wrestle Kingdom 13.
Again, probably on the same level.
This versus Okada at Dominion.
Yeah, better. In hindsight, I definitely overrated that match because I didn't want a Dominion main event to be shit.
Yeah, I agree with you.
AEW fans were watching this and going, "Oh, Jericho's so good. He's showing everyone on this card how it's fucking done." And I'm like, "You're fucking idiots." I didn't say it because I was running the because like I'm on the podcast Twitter and like Rob got me in trouble for trying to start a revolution in Australia, but To be fair, as soon as Rob let me use the PodMania for live tweeting, it became all like anarchism and homoeroticism, which I quite enjoyed. But just fucking, I'm done with Jericho in New Japan, and unfortunately, he's gonna keep coming to New Japan. Which just find a new way to start a story, because he basically only ever starts stories with a surprise attack for no fucking reason, or with video vignettes, which are cool, but like, why?
Going into the match, Tanahashi and Jericho had far better chemistry than Jericho and Okada because they're a similar style. Tanahashi, obviously, he's at that point now in his career where he's a little bit broken down. Not a little bit broken down, the poor man's held together with fucking tape. But there's a similarity there. They're both, not to the same extent, but they're both icons. You know, Chris Jericho is the top star of AEW. Hiroshi Tanahashi is the star, you know, falling down the card, obviously, now in age, but he is still the ace of New Japan. And I thought they had a really good exchange. They were parodying each other's moves, each other's little, you know, each little idiosyncrasies they were mocking. You know, you got Jericho on the top rope doing the air guitar. You got Tanahashi doing the "come on, baby," which I thought was really good. You know, and then you got Jericho, not to the same extent or to the same level as Switchblade Jay White was targeting Naito's leg the night before, but I thought it was good how Jericho was targeting Tanahashi's leg. Tanahashi goes to the top rope, goes for the high fly flow, but can't, falls from the top rope because his leg buckles. That is brilliant. That is great pro wrestling. You've got the DDT from Jericho on the table, which Tanahashi sells brilliantly. Looked fucking painful. Ow. The code breakers look good. And then we kept...
Tanahashi's codebreaker was shit.
It was shit, but so was Jericho's high fly flow, so there you go.
To be fair, what the fuck do you expect from Jericho?
That is true. I know you mentioned it before, but despite a lot of people mocking Chris Jericho's body, I will say that he is nearing 50 now. I think we can let him, to be fair.
We don't give Trent Seven shit.
Exactly. His lion salt was still on. Yeah, completely on point.
The thing is, like, he normally doesn't look that bad on, like, whenever I tune into Dynamite. So, like, honestly, I think it's literally the weight belt, because when he took it off, it looked better.
Yeah, I think it probably is the weight belt that doesn't help.
But to be honest, he probably did that just to get heat.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, Jericho locks in the Lion Tamer, and with having done all that work on the leg, Tanahashi taps, and Jericho gets a completely clean victory, which I think was the right decision. Really? Obviously, well, yeah, I don't want Tanahashi going anywhere near the AEW Championship, but that's by the by. I thought this was 8 stars. I thought this was the best we've seen Jericho since Wrestle Kingdom 13. Yeah, 8 stars.
I'd probably be inclined to agree with you, actually. It's the Jericho New Japan match, and I'm sick of it, quite frankly.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
I get there's little things where, like, the little things this time didn't carry it for me.
No, Jericho will be back in New Japan,
which is a shame.
How many matches he has, that's up for debate. I mean, good as Jericho is, he's not. For me, I can't see him having a good match against a Kota Ibushi.
No, I can't see. Like, honestly, his best opponent would probably be Switchblade. Maybe Kenta.
I think much as I love Jay White, and you know how much I love Jay White, and this is me saying this, I think a Jericho versus Switchblade match could be very, very boring.
Well, I think Jericho's nowhere near on the level of Jay White nowadays in terms of, like, picking apart.
Well, no, of course not. He's 50.
Yeah, but, like, in terms of, like, ring psychology, he should be better.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he'll be back for one more match. They're not going to have a man like Jericho leave on a win, are they? So it'll be interesting to see who they choose as that. I think he's probably got one more match in him. I think it'll be interesting to see who they have. Whether it's a rematch with Tanahashi, I wouldn't be massively opposed to that. Having a rematch and Tanahashi getting the victory and sort of dispelling Jericho from the company and, you know, that being it for Jericho. I don't think he's got many more matches in
I
him,
want
to
him
be
to
perfectly
just
honest.
fuck off to AEW already.
Yeah,
I'm not being fun, but Shine in terms of New Japan, the Shine has been off Jericho since about Wrestle Kingdom last year.
Yeah, I agree. I think Naito winning the belt off Jericho should have been the end.
Yeah, exactly. And then suddenly he's just like, oh, I'm gonna go after Okada because like apparently we couldn't think of anything fucking better for Dominion.
No. Speaking of Okada, Chris. Speaking of Okada, because my segues are that fucking good, we move on to the IWGP Heavyweight and IWGP Intercontinental Double Championship match, with Tetsuya Naito defeating, finally, Kazuchika Okada, the champion, at 35 minutes and 37 seconds with Destino. Now,
very quickly, I know you wanted to go first, but like, can we disagree? Match of the weekend?
Mate, honestly, this is where my little bit of my gushing comes off. Now,
oh my.
Oh yes, Chris, settle in. In all seriousness, this is one of, if not the greatest match I have ever seen, and there are a multitude of reasons as to why that is. In ring, the story was phenomenal. Okay, in ring, the story built at a beautiful pace, but it had something that the Okada vs Ibushi match didn't have, and that is long-term storytelling. And this story was told perfectly, going all the way back to Wrestle Kingdom 8. Tetsuya Naito is against Okada. He's won the G1 Climax. Okada is the heavyweight champion. Naito has his heavyweight championship match bumped down the card at Wrestle Kingdom. He doesn't get to fight in the main event. He does everything he can to beat Okada, but instead he goes to the top for a Stardust Press, doesn't hit it, and loses in the Tokyo Dome against Okada. We then get a replication of that at Wrestle Kingdom 12, where Tetsuya Naito, having won the G1 Climax again, goes against Kazuchika Okada, and yet again he can't get it done. In fact, he falls at the same hurdle. He goes for a Destino, hits the Destino, then instead of pinning or going for a second Destino, goes for that Stardust Press, and again cannot get it done because Okada ducks or gets out of the way of it, goes for the Rainmaker. Naito loses, Okada retains. The entire wrestling world was stunned because they were convinced that Naito, at the height of his power, at the height of his popularity, would win, having come from where he was physically being bumped down the card due to his lack of popularity, to where he was at this point, and he still couldn't get the job done. And he has built and built and built and built up to Wrestle Kingdom 14, that last opportunity, not only to defeat Okada, but to do something unparalleled that has never been done in New Japan. And it had to be Okada. It couldn't be Ibushi in the final with him. It couldn't be Switchblade. He needed not only to win the championship, to prove to everyone that he can do it, but he needed to get redemption over Okada, having lost twice to Kazuchika Okada. And he does it in a match that had me physically on my feet at 3 or 4 moments, laughing at times that Naito kicks out of Rainmakers, that I at one point shouted, "Oh my God, not again," when they went for the same spot. There was so many callbacks to their Wrestle Kingdom 12 match, even their Wrestle Kingdom 8 match. And when Naito goes to the top to hit that Stardust Press, I was genuinely like, no, he's got to hit it. He's got it. And he does hit it. Getting rid of that demon, goes for the Destino and pins it to an astronomical pop. I'm sorry, but this match has got that long-term storyline that just makes everything better. And it's just one of those storylines that you can't beat. The in-ring was phenomenal. Okada was immense in this match. Naito he was on a different level in this match. He was a man who needed to win. He was present. He knew what he had to do. There was no bullshit as he came to the ring. There was no taking an hour and a half to take his suit off. He came down to the ring. He got his suit off. He knew what he had to do. He was a focused Naito, and that was because of all the bullshit that led up to this moment. And I'm sorry, it was for me, perfect.
You done?
Yeah.
I agree with you. You kind of skipped a few things I want to mention. For example, Naito became a dick after making LIJ, where like he'd go after Tanner, and like when most people don't really remember because it's before a lot of people started to watch. Tanahashi going into Wrestle Kingdom 11 was floating around the idea of another vote to get Okada and Omega bumped. And then, like, New Japan management, if I remember this correctly, New Japan management was basically like, okay, so, like, if everyone here agrees, then sure. And then Naito didn't agree, because keeping Tanahashi out of that spot meant more to him than being in that spot at that point in time. And then, like, over that year, it's like, oh, shit, I can actually do this. And then, like, my fucking heart was in my mouth when he lost 2 years ago. Like, I don't know how... Like, it seemed like such a bad decision at the time. And to be fair, has led to some pretty stale booking in the last year. But at the same time, Jesus wept.
To have Naito effectively in the lowest point of his career heading into Power Struggle.
I think going this year, he's after his feud with Ibushi, he was effectively lost in the wilderness. Especially going into the G1 where he lost to Toru fucking Yano.
It was, but Yano beat everyone. At one
Yano,
point, he was winning the block.
He was like at the fucking halfway stage, he was winning the block. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I don't feel like we'd be gushing about this match if it was Yano.
I was simming a New Japan Cup and Yano managed to beat Okada, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Just bizarre. But also, this was a redemption story. But also, don't forget that Naito, who has had this terrible year, he was pipped to the post at the very, very last moment by Jay White to lose the block final in the G1 again. Sort of labeling him as, sorry, Goto, but the Goto of the heavyweight division.
Goto of the IC division, yeah, exactly.
Not being able to get the job done on the big stage, and you could see it was taking its toll on Naito. Naito's not a young man. I think he's early 40s, Naito.
I know, he's younger than Ibushi.
Shut up.
He is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. Hang on, I'm pulling this up right now.
Okay.
Naito is 37.
Okay.
And Ibushi is... I hate the first one that comes up when you Google Ibushi is Ibushi AEW. Fuck off. Yeah, Ibushi's also 37, but Ibushi was born in May and Naito was born... Okay, so Naito's not younger than Ibushi, but they're the same... but like, they're separated by like a month.
But he's not younger.
Like... I was a month out, okay?
You were wrong. Don't give a shit if you were a month off. You were wrong.
I'm wrong a lot, Rob. You're the fucking stats guy. I'm here for the emotion.
Oh, Okada. I mean, it's all very well gushing about Naito in this match, and by God, we should do. Okada was brilliant here. Okada knew his part that he had to play. He was playing the spoiler, and constantly he was encouraging Naito to be better. Basically expecting much more, especially in that first part of the match where he was taunting Naito. And don't forget, in that callback, I believe at Power Struggle, when all four of them were standing there, and Okada mentioned the vote. And it was, oh my God. And then don't forget at the end of Wrestle Kingdom 12, when Okada turns to Naito and says, how was the main event? Oh, what a dick. What a dick. And then all of this was brought back. And it's long-term storytelling at its absolute best.
And you have to say Chris Charlton put it over amazingly. Like, absolutely amazingly. And, like, it's just when Naito went up for the Stardust press and Chris Charlton's like, oh, don't get cute, sunshine. It's like...
It was, yeah.
Just... Like, if you're into like pure fucking work rate or whatever, you're probably going to see this as like your run of the mill. Because, like, quite frankly, in terms of like pure content, this is no different really from the Wrestle Kingdom 12 match. But at the same time, the emotion going into it was a lot more. This is the first time I felt that Naito losing 2 years ago was a good idea.
There was a moment, Chris, and it's going to sound like a really, really weird moment to pick out. There was a moment where Okada is going for the tombstone and is late on in the match. And, there are times in wrestling in general where things are too over choreographed and things can seem very, very smooth. And, the reversals of the tombstone are quite easy and they sometimes look quite flashy. However, here, Naito is physically kicking his legs, desperately trying to get out of it. Because it was almost like he was saying to himself, no, this is not the way it's going down. I will fight with absolutely everything I fucking have to stop this happening again. And it was just brilliant. And then he follows it up by spitting in his face. Just that one more time, that one act of, do you know what? I'm still here, you fucking prick.
And then, the Northern Lights bomb. Holy shit.
Oh, my God.
I did not see... I know he's pulled it out on, Tai Chi, but I did not see him pulling it out. I never see it as, something he's hit all the time, but he's started to doing it, and he does it so well. It's a proper Sasaki-esque Northern Lights bomb, and then, the last Destino put the emphasis... it's early in this match when he came down bad on a Destino.
Yeah.
That was just beautiful. And then that fucking top rope poison Rana.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely.
Fucking never do that again.
I'm not going to lie, Chris. This is it is one of my top 3 matches ever.
Well, I need to rewatch it a couple more times to know where it sits, but it's quite high for me. I cannot pick any problems with this match.
I mean, Naito had to find another gear that I didn't even know he was capable of in this match. And you could almost see the moment that Okada realised that he was in trouble, that he hadn't got what it took. He knew that basically the force of Naito, that sort of energy and adrenaline that Naito had at this point, was too much for him and he didn't have enough left. And it was great. That Destino, that pinfall, that pop were incredible. And then that final moment where once he's finally won and Okada is led from the ring and Naito looks at Okada and says, the main event was great. And then he says, rather than be a complete dick, he goes, let's do it again sometime. And my favourite moment of both nights is Okada throwing up the LIJ fist to him. What a fucking tie-off.
And then the roll call almost happened.
They still couldn't let him have the what's it, could they? They still couldn't let him have the roll call.
The roll call started, and LAJ out there. I'm like, this is weird. And then Kenta's suddenly there. I'm like, whoa, what?
Kenta slides in, absolutely destroys him.
It was so seamless that I honestly thought a fan had jumped the ring.
It was brilliantly done. And then Kenta sits on him, like he did with Shibata, holds up both belts and smiles as he is heckled to fuck with boos.
Oh, fuck Kenta.
Jesus. And he is physically laughing. And I'm sorry, what a fucking heel.
What a heel. In that moment, I'd never hated anyone more than I hated Kenta.
I couldn't believe it. I laughed out loud. I just laughed. But honestly, what a fucking show. What a fucking 2 nights. The correct results. You had me just embroiled in all these stories, but that Naito storyline, yes, you can complain as much as you want about the build-up of, all of the double dash. I know that it was flawed. For example, you got Jay White, who was the IC champion, Kota Ibushi, who won the G1, Okada, who's the heavyweight champion, and Naito, who beat Taichi. Which one of those is the odd one out? That's fine.
Yeah, that would be the guy who won the G1 because beating Taichi is actually quite hard.
Well, we'll see after New Year Dash. But do you see what I mean? It wasn't the greatest build-up. And yes, the idea was brilliant, the execution a little bit off. But you cannot argue with the results. And I will fight to the grave that this is probably my favourite match ever. Just because of the long... Omega and Okada, outstanding matches, flawless matches, incredible wrestling matches. But the long storytelling of this match and this entire angle, for me, that's everything in wrestling.
I'll tell you what the year-end awards if it's my favourite.
Oh, it'll be mine, trust me.
I know, but a year-end award, it's too early to know how much I love this match, and I do love this match. It's a 10, obviously, best favorite match of the weekend. But like, I need more time to consider whether it's my favorite of all time. But it is fucking up there.
And then
wait,
go on.
We're in the home stretch now because
we are.
It's Dash now.
We are.
And can we please just do New Beginning another time? Because Jesus Christ, you've been here a while.
I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we will preview. We'll talk about it later, but go on.
Because like then we can also talk about the US shows, which have some interesting matches. So let's just do Dash and get the fuck out of here.
It's been a long show.
I haven't even eaten yet. Okay, so
we start
with the Liger ceremony. Oh my god.
This was, and I have absolutely no shame in this, I wept like a small child.
I wept, but like I weep over, like I sometimes it's hard just to not cry. So
wow. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
I like how I do make jokes like this just enough for you to be caught off guard.
Yeah, I just didn't expect that. We had Liger come out in his gear, which I thought was nice. They did mention on commentary about how they wanted, what do you think about going off in a suit? And Liger felt a bit weird about going out in his gear, but then he said, well, okay, let's go. And then Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton brought up the fact that Liger had wanted the ceremony to go on first, not last, because he wanted the show to be dominated by the wrestling and not by him, proving that he is just the fucking best, because he's amazing.
Every time he comes to the UK, he puts someone over.
Incredible.
He put Cal Fletcher over, which, like, I'm not being funny. Cal fucking Fletcher.
I know.
Anyway, but yeah, my favorite part of this was actually no, because I couldn't really get fully into it because I was fully expecting Kenta to come and fuck it up.
Can you imagine? Oh my god!
But no, when Okada was the most human Okada's ever looked. When he took a selfie.
Honestly, it was.
You know what's the funniest part of the selfie? Ishii isn't in it.
Well, I was going to say this. Obviously, we have a point where people come into the ring, pay their tributes to Liger, give him flowers. Tanahashi is barely holding it together when he gives him the flowers, then openly weeps for the entire of the ceremony, which it was heartbreaking to watch. And then Chaos come out, everyone in Chaos, with the exception of Ishii. Why? Where were you, Ishii?
Honestly, where the fuck was Ishii?
I just love the idea of him being on the toilet and someone banging on the stall door going, Ishii, we need to go. And he's like, fuck, there's no toilet paper. Shit.
I don't, oh God, I don't have time to wash my hands. I don't want to give Liger fucking salmonella on this last night.
I'm sorry.
Oh, poor he made up for it later in the night, to be fair.
He did. He did.
Yeah, and then, like, what's funny? Like, they kept Will Ospreay during the photo opportunity kept standing in the wrong place.
You could hear him because the commentary team were brilliant here. They did that brilliant thing where they just took a back seat and you could hear everything, and it was great.
And then, like, if something of historical significance came up, Charlton would quickly chime in and then chime back out.
And do you know what? I mean, we had offerings from Harold May, who burst into tears. We had Sugabayashi gave his flowers, and then Liger's family, his son and his wife came out, and that was it. I'd gone by this point because his son was in floods. His wife was great.
And then Inoki. I genuinely thought Inoki was dead.
I thought he was dead as well. That really confused me because I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, no, literally, I was like, is that his son? Like, is that fucking John Inoki or whatever? But no, it's fucking Antonio. I didn't know he was still... My man just refuses to put someone over, including life.
And just incredible. And then we cut back to Liger, who does a very brief, very selfless speech, which Chris Charlton, bless him, tries his best to translate, but he's gone at this point. He's gone. Gino Gambino has gone at this point. Kevin Kelly's doing his best to hold it together, and it just makes things so much more realistic, so much more palpable, and it makes you so much more invested. I mean, that side of his child weeping, then you've got they cut to Tanahashi and he's weeping. There was someone from Chaos as well, I can't remember who it was, but they were in tears. And eventually the ceremony concluded with everyone getting in the ring and sort of singing Liger's theme song, which is great because he and the commentary team were like, "Oh shit, I don't know the words. Oh my god, I know the tune."
No, Charlton was like, "I know the words, but I don't want to ruin our viewers' ears."
Charlton's great. And then they all threw him up in the air, and that was it. And it was a highlight, without a shadow of a doubt, of this show. And I actively encourage you to go and watch it. It was amazing.
Like, don't get us wrong. It's fucking long. It's half an hour, but like it's worth it.
Oh god, yeah, it is long.
Like if you remotely care about wrestling history, it's worth it.
It was
because like it's so very rarely that someone goes out still like healthy.
I mean, let's be perfectly honest, I hate to compare this to the WWE. I hate it, but let's be honest. If Jushin Thunder Liger had retired in the WWE, he'd have been made to sit on a stool and give a speech on Miz fucking TV.
Yeah, he'd be back 2 weeks later as the GM.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry, this was perfect. This was amazing, and it's everything he deserved.
It's like, we say that Liger's definitely going to be on commentary for the rest of his life.
Well, I hope so.
To be fair, I do hope Kenta attacks him at some point just for the heat.
It wouldn't surprise me. It would not
honestly,
surprise
I just
me.
want Kenta to be the guy who keeps attacking the retired people.
Right.
Like Antonio Inoki comes out for like the anniversary and boom, there's Kenta.
Why are you still here, Inoki?
Die already, and then Kenta kills him. Anyway, so the Young Lion match.
I'm literally just going to go through these matches, Chris, and we'll talk about them.
Okay.
So we've got Fredericks, Clark Connors, and Coughlin defeating Toa Henare, Yotsuji, and Yuya Emira. What do you think?
It was probably the best Young Lion match of the weekend. Again, the LA Dojo guys, especially in this match, Coughlin. This is the most, not over, like the most exposure I've seen Coughlin get since the Cup, and he's great. They're all great. All the LA Dojo lads are great. And like, because they're not being funny, I can tell them all apart from looking at them. I do not care enough about the normal Young Lions to bother putting a name to a face.
No, I understand that. They had that personality that you were talking about.
No, exactly, because like they're not. We'll get there. Like, look at Shota Umino and Ren Narita. They got there fairly quickly, but like as it stands, yeah. And then Oka, who went off to live in the mountains.
He did go off to live in the mountains. Ultimately, though, no real relevance to further storylines. I gave it 6. It was a really good match, to be fair.
I gave it 6. What really good opening.
We then had a non-title 4-way junior tag team match with the Suzuki-gun team of Despi and Kanemaru defeating the champions Roppongi 3K, LIJ team of Hiromu and Bushi, and the Bullet Club team of Phantasmo and Taiji Shimori, with Roppongi 3K taking the pinfall. So we are getting the rematch of the Super Junior Tag League in Roppongi 3K versus Suzuki Gun for the titles at New Beginning. What do you think of this?
It'll be solid. It'll be fine. We've seen it a lot. Honestly, I halfway expected Bushi and Hiromu to get it just because we haven't seen them team in a while.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I don't want to see it again, but I'm not going to complain because, like you say, it's always a good match. I gave it 6 again. I thought it was okay. I thought it was really nice that Bushi had that tribute to Liger and his mask on both sets of his mask, and of course Hiromu had thank you and Liger on his wrist tape as well. So I thought that was quite a nice thing because obviously they weren't going to have anyone from the heel or tweener factions going out to celebrate with Liger, so I thought that was good.
Yeah.
We then had match 3 with Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kota Ibushi, and the tag team champions Finjuice defeating the Bullet Club team of God, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens with Jardo. It was an alright match.
The match is pointless, but what it sets up is great.
Yeah, I gave it a 4, to be perfectly honest, because it...
I gave it a 5.
Well,
but Fale looked less immobile.
Okay.
It doesn't really. To be honest, I don't really care enough to argue with you about this match. But what it sets up, yes, please.
It's very intriguing. It seems that the new direction of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kota Ibushi, is that they are going to be entering the tag team division. Now, not only is that something that people have been clamoring for, even if it was with Tanahashi and Okada to start off with, but also, how much relevance does this bring to the tag team division? Fucking hell.
Because like, if you look at also later in the show, they're literally just doing what we said to do, like put actual legitimate stars as tag teams, and then like if you don't want them to be in the tag team division forever, they don't have to be.
Yeah, I mean, if we...
the All Japan model, essentially.
Absolutely. You put your big single stars in tag teams, and that's how you build momentum into championship challenges.
Because Tana and Ibushi have no better rivalry to do right now. Like, there's no natural program for them to slip into. So why the fuck not?
Exactly. Now, again, we'll preview New Beginning at the start of the next show, but it's not Tanahashi and Ibushi versus Finjuice for the tag titles. Not as far as I can see, anyway.
I did notice that. And maybe we're saving it for what's the next big one? Is it Sakura?
Sakura Genesis, yeah. April or is it end of May, I think. End of March, 31st of March, I think.
Fucking long. That's so long. That's so far away. Holy shit. Anyway, continue. The next match was amazing.
The next match was an absolute banger. It was a tag team match, and this got a cheer when it was announced, by the way.
Yeah, it did.
It was LIJ team with Evil and Shingy. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Evil and Shingo. It's because I was going to say Shingo Takagi, but I couldn't get it out. Evil and Shingo defeating the Chaos team, the never openweight champion Hiroki Goto, and Tomohiro Ishii, who clearly found toilet paper and was ready to come out for the match.
Maybe that's why he lost, because his ass was a little bit uncomfortable.
Maybe.
But quickly,
my god.
Before we get into this match, I found out this week Evil is engaged to Io Shirai, which made more sense than I expected it to.
I can see that. Though I have heard as well, if you are to believe the rumour mill, that Io and Kairi are on the way back to Stardom.
It's not that they're on the way back, it's that there's essentially a bidding war about to start. And to be honest, Charlotte Flair basically fucking abused poor Kairi at TLC, didn't she?
Yeah, I made a point of not watching that show.
No, I haven't seen. But like I've watched like the Botchamania, and like Charlotte is smart enough to know that Kyrie's injured. Like when I'm not being funny, when someone like Kyrie, you can't get them up for a power bomb. Like, but she's not someone who's going to sandbag you, is she?
No, and
so like
you could tell she was injured.
No, exactly. So like the bumps Charlotte was forcing that poor girl to take is actually like honestly, if I was running that company, I'd fucking reprimand her. That's disgusting.
This match, though,
was great. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, this is what I want the tag division to be. I essentially want this tag division to be All Japan's.
This was fucking lunacy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want big men running into each other. I'm a very simple man, Rob.
It's
like why I like Godzilla movies. It's like big things running into each other. Yes, Chris is happy.
It's everything I love about Japanese wrestling. You've got Shingo absolutely lariating the shit out of everyone. Goto, again, looked like a badass. He did not back down at any point. And then you've got Ishii and Evil, who at no point disappoint with anything they do. It was...
My favourite part of this match is when everyone got a lariat from someone else.
It was just an all-out hoss battle.
No, exactly. It was like the Violent Giants tag match from the All Japan show.
It was. That's exactly what it was like. And
except it didn't have a weird ending.
No, it didn't. It had a very definitive ending with Shingo pinning Goto after hitting the last of the dragon, which
I'm fine with.
Which sets up Shingo, who took to the microphone after, reminding Goto they were now 1-1 in singles, and says, I want a rubber match for your never openweight championship. Looks well, it has. It has been announced. It is the main event of one of the Sapporo shows. Oh my god, I am all up for that.
Yeah, because that match at Destruction was amazing.
It was. It has also set up Ishii versus Evil again in a special singles match.
Which is always fun, but like, can we please do something that's not a special singles match? I mean, I say that. But that's definitely going to be who Goto challenges next, or like whoever wins is going to challenge never openweight champion. Props. So like, I'm okay with all of, like, honestly, coming out of this, with the exception of the junior tag stuff. And to be honest, if your biggest problem is the junior tag, then you're fine. Exactly.
I gave this a 9. I thought it was sensational.
Thing is, I don't think it's better than the Violent Giants match. I think it's on par. But then again, I gave the Violent Giants match a 9, so yeah, I'll go with 9.
I was just going to say, okay, anyway. So,
I'm a man of mystery.
The next match, the Chaos team of... Go on.
The fucking Robbie Eagles was abused.
Oh, we will get into that. The Chaos team of Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, Robbie Eagles, and Yoshihashi defeated the Suzuki Gun team of Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr., Lance Arch, and Taichi via DQ. This was basically a scene out of Hostel, where Robbie Eagles...
I've not seen that.
I haven't, I'm just assuming. No, it's...
Last gaff.
Yeah. Basically, Robbie Eagles was thrown from pillar to post and was used as a punching bag by everyone on the Suzuki Gun team.
He was thrown around like Justin Bieber would be in prison. Like, holy shit.
Oh my god. I mean, there was one point where he was abused for about 5 minutes by Suzuki, and then he tagged out, and one of the commentary team said something about a reprieve, and he tagged in Lance Archer. And you saw Robbie Eagles' face as though to go, oh, for fuck's sake. So he got up, and Lance Archer's like, come on then, hit me. And he puts his hands behind his back as well, which makes it even worse. Oh my god, it was brilliant. And
Eagles.
Yeah, very, very poor Eagles. Poor Eagles.
Like, honestly, if you're going to harass someone, make it Yoshihashi. Nobody likes him.
I am a fan of his new gear, though.
Yeah, but like fucking, I like so many people's gears who are shit. Kelly Klein has Kelly Klein has shit gear. She looks like she's wearing a fucking nappy. But yeah, I liked how at the start, like, it's very clear what the feuds are going forward.
Yes,
like with the SJ staring down Ospreay, and was it Okada staring down Archer? Am I right?
No,
Taichi.
Taichi, yeah, Taichi was staring down Okada. He stepped up to Okada and did not back down.
Yeah, because Taichi probably is like, yeah, I could take you, you bitch. Because, you know, Taichi is secretly the most destructive member of Suzuki Gun. But, and he is. Remember that fucking chair shot? Brutal. Anyway, I'm happy with everything set up. And then, like, with the exception of the abuse of Robbie Eagles, the match itself isn't worth talking about. Like, Ospreay and DSJ had a fun exchange. And, like, honestly, if Ospreay is injured, like people are saying, ZSJ is a perfect person to work.
Well,
because you don't really need to bump in a ZSJ match, do you?
Well, apparently, Ospreay was a doubt for this match because he's broken part of his foot, which he...
Oh, for fuck's sake, Ospreay, just stop.
Which he broke or injured partway through the match with Takahashi.
Fucking...
Where?
Stop, Ospreay.
I know, but where? Because at no point does he miss a step.
He's just insane.
I mean, I'll give it a 6. It's fine.
I'll give it a 6 because, like, there's a weird sick pleasure.
Yeah.
In watching Robbie Eagles be and then like Taichi DQing. Like, I think that's the best way for Taichi to get heat, and it's great. And Taichi's gonna beat Okada. Fight me. I
genuinely think that Taichi versus Okada, because let's face it, the last Taichi outing in Sapporo was fucking dreadful.
Right, but okay, we don't have a Zuka.
No, anymore. True. That's true. Well, we sort of do. He used the Iron Glove. The only thing I have slight concerns about is that this is main eventing one of the Sapporo shows.
It's an Okada. The thing is, Okada needs to be the main event to draw in some places.
Which is fair enough.
And they often put people against, like, as much as they love Taichi, New Japan see him as a B player. So, like, in non-Tokyo, non-Osaka shows, they will often put a big star against a B star.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I think it will be a great match. Afterwards,
Taichi, like, whatever you used to think about Taichi, he's gotten so much better this year.
Oh god, he has, and he continues to beat down of Okada, and then John Moxley comes down. Him and Suzuki have an exchange, setting up that officially for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, which has been set up for, I can't remember which one either.
It's Sapporo too, I think.
Which, Jesus Christ, this tour is stacked, and again, we'll preview it at the start of our next show.
Like, when you look at how New Beginning was last year, where, like, it could have been good and then just sort of wasn't good. Like, this year, it's like the underovers on, like, ratings is going to be insane. Anyway, main event time, where, like, the only real thing worth talking about is the heat. Holy shit!
Oh my god, LIJ team. Tetsuya Naito and Sanada defeating the Bullet Club team of Jay White and Kenta.
Like, oh my god!
Like,
I do not remember a single thing of this match. I just remember the boo. I've been so long since I've heard boos that loud.
I am going to give it a 6, and the reason I'm going to give it a 6 is because, to me, Naito carried himself like a champion during this. He didn't do ridiculous stuff during his entrance. He went straight for Kenta without even getting changed. Just went fucking ballistic for Kenta. The boos for Kenta.
Holy shit! As soon as this music hit, it's like, oh my god, this is like a fucking New York crowd, not Tokyo crowd.
Jesus.
Like honestly, I maybe expected it was Osaka or something, but it's not even Osaka. It's Tokyo.
No, it was. Oh my god, I can't believe how much heat he's getting, which is just, it's great. He's such a natural heel.
It's beautiful. Honestly, if Garth watched this, he'd fall in love.
He would. Again, it was mainly a match to sell the angle, which Sonata managed to get the pinfall over Jay White. Jay White and Kenta instantly get their win back by smashing up LIJ for a bit. Jay White takes the microphone and basically says, me and Kenta are the biggest things. Jay White sort of kneels on Sonata's head and says, you've reminded me that I need to put you back in your place. So that set that up.
That's going to be great.
That is going to be a fucking great match.
They're two very cold, calculated wrestlers.
They are, and I think
so
they could have very good chemistry.
So it's like Sanada and Suzuki. So perfect. And because honestly, Jay White is someone Sanada needs someone to draw emotion out of him. Because like, with the exception of his Okada matches, for most part, he's a bit of an emotionless robot.
No, I agree.
Because he's so again, as what it is to say, because Sanada's so good, it's the Randy Orton effect, where like he's just so naturally good that you can't connect with him a lot of the time.
Yeah, I agree. And then, obviously, finally, it sets up Kenta and Naito for the
heat.
Now, he has actually said, Naito's come out in an interview and said that he doesn't want to defend both titles together. This will be basically a one-off. The next time someone steps up, they can choose the belt.
Same thing happened when Ring of Honor did it, actually. So, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that as well.
Because like some people just have an affinity for the IC title. So like some of those people will step up. Or like honestly, with a secondary title on Naito, it could create interesting dichotomy where he goes, okay, why don't someone from LIJ? It's like, sort of like what Priestley did when she was the champion. It's like, why doesn't someone from LIJ challenge me? So that way we can have 2 belts and 2 people in LIJ.
It would be nice to see if Sonata does that, and that's where this angle is going. But we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm so tired.
We have now covered 2 of the greatest nights of wrestling, I think, ever, and then New Year Dash, which set up all these angles for what will be an absolutely outstanding New Beginning tour. In the next show, which we will do some behind-the-scenes talking, whether it is next week on the 15th or whether it's the week after, just before those shows, we'll let you know via Twitter, but we'll preview the New Beginning in the USA tours and these as well.
The next 2 in like no particular order, like we don't know what order we're in yet, but it would be the previews and then also a Liger special, which Garth is joining us for.
Yes, we will be watching not in memoriam, he hasn't died.
Kenta hasn't got to him yet.
In respect of obviously Liger and his retirement and everything he's done, we're going to watch 3 or 4. We haven't decided yet. Probably 4.
No, to be fair, because I was like, why don't we all just pick one? He's like, nah, I can't be bothered. Let's just do the 4. I'm like, so it's Kishin Liger versus Muta, Pillman versus Liger at Super Bro, Sano versus Liger, and the El Samurai versus Liger.
So we'll be reviewing all of those matches, and of course, before that, we will, well, whether we do them as 2 separate shows, I don't know. We'll sort something out, and we'll let you know via Twitter.
It's Takeover on Sunday.
This Sunday?
Yeah. Takeover's this Sunday, yeah.
I'm so out of touch with American wrestling.
No, I mean UK Takeover, the one we're going to.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant Takeover Tampa. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not.
No, the UK Takeover that we have tickets for, Rob.
Oh, yes, we do. We shall be coming to you live from Blackpool at some point. We'll be doing some podcasting there and releasing that.
If you fucking get I'm going to bring my iPad just so we have a fucking shit backup.
Yes, just in case it doesn't work like it didn't last time. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to what I know has been a ridiculously long podcast. We do really appreciate you listening in. And thank you as well, I did mean to say this before, for making our Wrestle Kingdom preview our most downloaded episode ever. So thank you very much.
I better ask that off screen. Anyway.
But thank you very much. We do appreciate the support that you've given us. We'll be back again, like I say, with the new beginning preview. If you want to talk to us in the meantime, then you can talk to us on Twitter at YoungLioncast. You can find me at RealRobGoodwin. Gris, where can they find you?
I mean, you can find me at NoGoto, but like, quite frankly, I just use the PodMania one now because Rob sort of abandoned that for the Young Lion one. So like, PodMania is just my Twitter account.
Yeah, at PodMania is basically Chris's Twitter baby now.
So if you want Anarcho Revolution and homoeroticism, come on.
You can also find us on www.podmania.co.uk, and you can also find us. We have now been added to a website called Purogate, so check out that page as well for loads of reviews on Stardom and All Japan and Noah and all sorts.
You got me really excited when you said Stardom.
Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.